going on that are newsworthy. And I think you'd have more viewers or readers if people would address concerns that people have. The list goes on about
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
Joe Biden's plagiarizing prowess proves one thing: he's been stealing all his life.
Why is it that Joe Biden is the first in his family ever to go to a university?
Why am I the first kid in 1,000 generations to be able to get to university?
Why is it that my wife, who's sitting out there in the audience, is the first in her family to ever go to college?
Why is Glenys the first woman in her family in 1,000 generations to be able to get to university?
No, it's not because they weren't as smart.
Does anybody really think that they didn't get what we had because they didn't have the talent?
It's not because they didn't work as hard.
Or the strength, or the endurance, or the commitment. Of course not.
It's because they didn't have a platform upon which to stand.
It was because there was no platform upon which they could stand.
I should have said, to paraphrase Neil Kinnock, it's the only time I didn't, and all the times I've ever used it.
Come on, man. You've been hearing me talk about Super Beets for a while now, and I'm sure some of you are still thinking, why Super Beets? You could take it from me. The benefits of Super Beets are incredible. I take them twice a day, once in the morning when I get up, even before I have my first cup of coffee, and the other time in the afternoon, right before the show. It gives me a burst of energy. It's great for my blood pressure. It's good for circulation. It just makes you feel better. If that doesn't convince you, we can talk about the science behind Super Beets. Beets have nitrates. Nitrates support better blood flow, and better blood flow equals better energy and efficiency throughout the body, and even supports healthy blood pressure. But Super Beets does so much more than eating regular beets and is unparalleled compared to other beet powders. Just one scoop of Super Beets has the nitric oxide equivalent of 3 whole beets. Go to superbeetsradio.com/Howie and try out Super Beets yourself. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie.
200 moms, dads, sons, daughters, grandparents who are no longer with us.
I think it's up to 30,000 people have died.
Over 600,000 dead, 600 plus thousand people.
60,000.
660. We're in the middle of a pandemic that had cost us more than 85,000 jobs, lives of millions of people. Now we have over 120 million dead from COVID. 200 million people have died. 205 million people, 1,000 people. 210,000 people have died. 4 million existing billion, 500,000. 50,000. A class of 25.
Better strap yourself in. It's time for the Howie Carr Show.
Because I think we do have the reputation as being the conservative platform, although we are nonpartisan. That is what everybody sees us as. We do see this as being politically singled out.
But this is a historic moment where Twitter has stepped in and said, no, that world leader, the United States president, is too dangerous to use our platform.
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
We boarded up the country in case Trump won, not the reverse. So spare me the cries of whataboutism.
What about the COVID relief package that was held up for 8 months?
But that was their obstruction. Understand this.
Well, wait.
It was their obstruction.
Yours too.
Their obstruction.
No, yours too.
Oh, snap. Rump swabs, hacks, and moonbats beware. It's Howie Carr.
Welcome to the Howie Carr Show. As the censorship, the big tech takeover, the cyber coup is underway here in the United States of America, and these are the times that try men's souls, as Thomas Paine once said. And we have so much to talk about today, and what to do about this. And isn't it great that Donald Trump has been banned, and all these other people, Sidney Powell, Linwood, Michael Flynn, they've all been banned from Twitter, but the mullahs in Iran, they still have their Twitter account. Apparently they don't sanction violence. So it's okay. Everything's fine with them. But the first thing I wanted to start with was this impeachment nonsense today on Capitol Hill with the House of Representatives. The move to the first move to I think demand that Pence invoke the 25th Amendment, or I can't even keep everything straight. It was blocked by Alex Mooney. He's a Republican from West Virginia. I think his family is from Cambridge. I met him once at a fundraiser in Wellesley. He's a good guy, and he blocked it today. But this whole thing, they want to impeach President Trump after he leaves office, after he's gone. And Alan Dershowitz said, how the hell can you impeach somebody who's not in office? It's kind of like a variation on the statute of limitations, isn't it? You know the old joke, you can't quit, you're fired, or you can't fire me, I quit. Isn't this the same kind of thing here? What it reminded me of was a not great moment in history, and that was when Oliver Cromwell was the dictator of England, and he threw out the king. I think he executed one of the Stuart monarchs, and he was the head guy for like 20 years, and he died in I think 1658. And in and he was buried in Westminster Abbey. And in 1661, the Stuart monarchy returned, and they were in such an angry mood that they dug up his body that was buried in Westminster Abbey, the church, the cathedral of the Church of England. And they tried him for high crimes and misdemeanors, treason, etc., and 2 other dead people. They put their corpses in a court and tried them. And then after they convicted them, I guess they didn't have much of a defense to mount, considering they'd been dead for years. They were hanged even though they were dead. They were hanged by the neck even though they were dead. And then they chopped off their heads and put it on poles, on pikes, 20-foot high pikes in front of Westminster Abbey. And it lasted in front of Westminster Abbey for years, decades. Oliver Cromwell wasn't officially buried in a religious ceremony until 1960. His head just passed down from one private owner to another. I didn't know I knew some of this, but not all of it before today. And at the same time, in the colonies here in Massachusetts, the colonials fought a horribly bloody war against the local Native Americans, Elizabeth Warren's ancestors. And the head of the Indians, the chief, was King Philip. And they did the same thing to King Philip. When they killed him, they chopped off his head and they put it on a pike in Plymouth. That's what they're doing with Donald Trump. They would do that if they could. It's the same thing. He's gone. What do you want to do to him? And this whole thing about banning him from Twitter. What exactly did he say to get him impeached? And what exactly did he say to get himself thrown off of Twitter? Before Grace came on this afternoon, I was listening to Rush Limbaugh at the start of his show, and he made a point. He said if Donald Trump had actually said anything at that speech in Washington, D.C. last Wednesday, don't you think that everybody would be playing it on a loop, on a reel? You would be hearing the same thing over and over again. Go get him! Go wild! He said, let's go up to the Capitol and demonstrate, quote, peacefully and patriotically. That's why they're not running the tape over and over again, because they don't have any sound cuts. It's not like in the 1960s when you had H. Rap Brown, we called him H-Bum Rap, the black leader, saying, violence is as American as apple pie. I mean, there was a memorable sound cut. And it played over and over again. There isn't a memorable sound cut here. But they still want to deplatform it. And, it's okay. Okay, Twitter, when this show went off the air on Friday night, I think I had 85,000 followers. Now I think I'm under 79,000 followers. But that's okay. I mean, people are departing Twitter, and I'll probably be departing Twitter myself as soon as possible. And that's one thing. But Twitter has a competitor. It's like if if you want to, you don't, in New York City, you don't have to read the New York Times. You can read the New York Post. I choose to read the New York Post. I choose never to read the New York Times anymore. And same thing, if you're a lefty, you can go to Twitter. If you are, that wasn't always that way, but that's the way it's gone now. And I've been on Twitter for a long time. And the alternative was Parler. But now Parler has been deprogrammed, deplatformed, I guess is the word, deplatformed. And it was among the people that were deplatforming it, or the entities, Amazon, Amazon.com, owned by the richest guy in the world, Dr. Evil, Jeff Bezos. And Jeff Bezos is also the owner of one of the nation's most powerful, quote unquote, newspapers. It's just a Democrat propaganda sheet, but it's still technically a newspaper. It's called the Washington Post. Now think about that. A guy who publishes a newspaper should be amongst the foremost steadfast defenders of the First Amendment, should he not? But yet, Jeff Bezos couldn't wait to kick Parler down the stairs. It's just amazing. It's really unthinkable what's going on here. And I was just thinking about it. I was talking with some of our advertisers today about this, and I'm going to try to avoid buying so much on Amazon. I don't have to, there's stuff you don't have to buy on Amazon. For instance, Kennedy Babylon, volumes 1 and 2. You could buy it on Amazon. We just got a new shipment in. We had to reprint. We ran out of them. And why buy on Amazon? You're giving money to Jeff Bezos to try to inhibit, if not prohibit, you from exercising all of your rights under the Bill of Rights, but basically your First Amendment rights. Why give it to him? Give it to HowieCarrShow.com. You can buy Kennedy Babylon volumes 1 and 2 for $14.99. It's a hell of a deal. You can buy them separately, but they cost even more. Buy them together. Whenever you can, don't use Amazon. I was thinking, I just bought some ink cartridges for my printer at home from Amazon. But then I just got an email giving me a deal at Staples. I mean, I don't know. Staples is probably semi-woke, but they're not as woke as Amazon. So next time I need ink cartridges, I think I'll buy at Staples. I buy espresso capsules. I have an espresso maker. I love that. I love it. And I always buy from Amazon because I get free delivery. But you know what? It's Beets coffee espresso. I can buy from Beets. I'm on the Beets mailing list. I've just been I've become a creature of habit, but you don't have to be a creature of habit. We don't have to go and support these people who are trying to cut our throats. It's ridiculous what's been going on. And there's a lot of good stuff in the papers today. And there's someone just texted me about a good article by Jeffrey Shapiro. He's a federal prosecutor in D.C. No, Trump isn't guilty of incitement. I know. I know he isn't because I've listened to it. So one of my neighbors this weekend was yelling at me. He voted for Trump too, and he said, "Your guy screwed everything up." I said, "What do you mean? You voted for him?" He said, "He incited those uneducated people." Well, number one, what does education mean these days? And number two, what did he say? Again, demonstrate peacefully and patriotically. And he said, he told them to go wild. So I didn't want to, create a scene at the local public supermarket. So I just went back. I can't find any quotes of him saying "go wild." He would, again, if he said "go wild," it would be on every alt-left cable channel around the clock, 24 hours a day. 844-500-4242, 844-500-4242. You've got to try to figure out how to handle this. These are perilous times we are living in. Whoever thought the First Amendment to the United States Constitution would be on the table in our lifetimes? 917 says, sadly, the biggest competitor to Amazon is Walmart, and they are woke. Are they as woke as Amazon, though? I mean, is this the era that we now live in, that we have to decide who is the least woke because that's who we want to support with our patronage? I think it probably is. Every new year, all you hear is new year, new me. That usually means picking up better habits or trying new things, like, for instance, exercising. I go out every morning and ride a few miles on my bike, and just have something to do, get the fresh air, and do a little exercise before I come to work. I feel better already. And you know what, though? It's even better for me in the morning because I have the wireless earbuds from Raycon. I can listen to my own music. I don't bother anybody else out on the trail. When I come back, I don't bother the mailroom manager when I'm listening to my podcast or my music or the talk shows I listen to. Whether it's following along to directions in the kitchen, binging an audiobook while learning to knit, or powering through a new workout with a pumped up playlist in your ear, a pair of Raycons can make any activity easier and a better time. Every day I pick a different Bob Dylan album to listen to on the way up. Today it was Blonde on Blonde. I love that. I love that from the middle period for Bob Dylan. Electric guitar, 65.
Too bad you weren't wearing your Raycons in the supermarket. You could have avoided your neighbor.
No, he recognized me, and he came up to me. He sought me out. I was surprised. But again, he watches too much TV. We'll talk more about that too. It's time to stop watching as much TV. Anyway, back to Raycon. Put your Raycon earbuds in instead of watching stupid TV. Raycon makes great sound accessible to everyone. Their wireless earbuds start at half the price of other premium audio brands. And guess what? If you think having white stems dangling out of your ears looks ridiculous, that's something you don't have to worry about with Raycons. They come in a range of stylish colorways, but always with a comfortable in-ear fit for a more discreet look. And they don't just look great. Raycons perform wherever you take them, with up to 6 hours of playtime, water and sweat-resistant construction, and Bluetooth that pairs quickly and seamlessly. You've heard me say all this before, so if you still don't have a pair of Raycons, I've really got to wonder why. Raycon's offering 15% off all their products for my listeners, and here's what you've got to do to get it. Go to buyraycon.com/Howie. That's it. You'll get 15% off your entire Raycon order, so feel free to grab a pair and a spare. That's 15% off at buyraycon.com/Howie. Buyraycon.com/Howie. I'm Howie Carr.
He's suave, he's debonair, he's Howie Carr.
Here's 1 minute of getting to know Jared Diglio. What would be your last meal on Earth?
Pizza. Cheese pizza. Just regular cheese pizza.
What drink are you going to have with your pizza?
I gotta go Coke. You gotta go Coke with pizza. It's the perfect combination.
Where's your favorite vacation spot?
I'm a staycation kind of guy. I like just staying in my place, but if I had to go to a destination, I love Italy, especially Rome.
If you could live in any state besides Massachusetts, which one would you choose?
Nevada. Wide open land. People leave you alone. Plus, it's not that far from Vegas or LA.
If you weren't in radio, what profession would you be in?
Gigolo.
Favorite comic book character?
Spider-Man. He's been my favorite since I was a kid. He's the most identifiable of the superheroes. He's just kind of a normal guy who's got a lot of problems, but he's got to overcome it and save the day.
Favorite Star Trek character?
I love TNG, but I got to go with James T. Kirk.
Dogs or cats?
Neither.
McDonald's or Burger King?
McDonald's.
Ice cream or cake?
Ice cream.
Sweet or salty?
Sweet.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Now's the perfect time to get a pair of premium wireless earbuds, and Raycon is the way to go. Raycon start at about half the price of other premium brands on the market, and they sound just as amazing. And Raycon's everyday E25 earbuds are their best model yet. You get 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, and a more compact design that gives you a comfortable, noise-isolating fit. Perfect for conference calls, video chats, or binging podcasts. Raycon was founded by Ray J, and celebrities like Cardi B and J.R. Smith have already given Raycons their seal of approval. I love my Raycons, and Grace loves hers too.
Howie, I love my Raycons. Best birthday gift ever.
I listen to much better music than she does, though.
Hey, that's not true.
Now it's your turn to see what the hype is all about. Go to buyraycon.com/Howie. That's buyraycon.com/Howie. Buyraycon.com/Howie.
Here's 1 minute with Governor
Charlie Parker in Massachusetts.
I'd certainly put myself on that list. I'm a basketball player. I always was. There's a lot at stake here. This is not a virus to be trifled with or disrespected. Respect the virus. I have a hard time understanding when we're going to be able to play basketball again. We can start talking about a gradual, careful, data-driven, phased reopening. Don't let a few nice days step on that. I need to talk to the Attorney General and find out what the actual parameters of the ruling are. Did this just happen? And the reason I read that story is because I'm a basketball player, and I agree. I was first made aware of the discrepancy on this on the day that the registrar resigned. The vast majority, and I mean like the vast majority of the people who are part of these protests are there to make a point and to make it peacefully. That is so obvious, I'm amazed that anybody could say anything other than that. I would love to be able to open everything up tomorrow. That would be an incredibly irresponsible thing to do.
We gave you a gun, the authority to use it. One is no good without the other. They don't know that out there. So they'll scream blue murder until the next time they need a man with a badge.
Howie Carr.
Make 2021 your healthiest year yet with Super Beets Heart Chews. These things are great. They're just wrapped in tinfoil like candy. I'm holding them a couple right now on the social media cam. Get a free 30-day supply of Super Beets Heart Chews plus a free 30-day supply of their new delicious flavor, Super Grapes, with your first purchase at superbeetsradio.com/Howie. This poll question, we talked about this on Friday, and I think it's a good poll question for today. Taylor, what is the poll question, and what are the results thus far?
Who is Trump's biggest backstabber? Bill Barr, Chris Christie, Nikki Haley, Lisa Murkowski, Mike Pence, Mitt Romney, Tom Tillis, or Pat Toomey?
Those are all excellent picks. I was going to say Mitt Romney, but that's too obvious. I'm going to go with Bill Barr.
That's what I went with, too. And he's the top vote getter, 35%. 24% say Chris Christie, 19% say Mitt Romney, and 18% say Mike Pence.
Yeah, I mean, voting for Mitt Romney is like blaming a rattlesnake for biting you. You know what I mean? That's what he does. He's a backstabber. That's his MO.
They smile in your face, but all the time they want to take your place.
Exactly. 844-500-4242. I didn't watch it. I don't watch 60 Minutes. I watched part of the game on CBS, the second game. But as soon as the game was over, I switched. I switched. I think the NBC getting ready for the Pittsburgh Steelers Cleveland Browns game, which was kind of wild. I was thinking about that. You know, people are saying, "Well, he texted it's going to be wild in Washington." Well, you know what? It was going to be wild. It was wild in Pittsburgh last night, even with the stadium empty, wasn't it? That was a crazy game. Wild doesn't mean that you're plotting the overthrow of the United States government or the republic. It's ridiculous. But anyway, Pelosi gave an interview. She was asked about was she too old by among other things by Leslie Stahl, who is no spring chicken herself, to put it mildly. I think Leslie Stahl is maybe like 2 years younger than Nancy Pelosi. But the craziest thing that I think Nancy Pelosi said was that they're asking, for the nuclear code from the Joint Chiefs of Staff because they're afraid Trump has been the first president in a generation to keep American military out of foreign wars. I mean, new foreign wars. He has brokered peace with Israel and multiple Arab and other Muslim countries. He's been extremely successful in not shedding American blood, and yet here's what Pelosi says she's concerned about. Cut 27.
I have sought information from those who are in a position to know that there are protections against this dangerous president initiating any military hostilities or something worse than that.
Military hostilities or something worse than that. What does that mean? I mean, nuclear war would be military hostility. So what could be worse? Does Nancy Pelosi think that he has the power to steer the planet into the sun and destroy all human life, all life on Earth? What the hell is she talking about? And then here's some more heated rhetoric and overreach. This is what they were going to do on Wednesday. Cut 23.
The evidence is now that it was a well-planned, organized group with leadership and guidance and direction. And the direction was to go get people.
Go get people, kidnap people. The guy in the horns was going to kidnap people. Was he the leader of the coup? I'm Howie Carr. We're all looking.
Howie, did you know Leslie Stahl was from Lynn?
I did know that, yes.
Oh, okay. Another mass hack.
Yes. Is Grace coming on at 3:30?
Yes.
Okay, good. Go shopping for insurance, and Gabby takes the pain out of doing it by giving you an apples-to-apples comparison of your current coverage with 40 of the top insurance providers, including Progressive, Nationwide, and Travelers. Just link your current insurance account, and in just minutes, you'll be able to see quotes for the exact same coverage you currently have. And as I mentioned, Gabby customers save $961 per year on average. I bet that would be nice to have in your pocket every year, and they'll never sell your info. So no annoying spam or robocalls. You're probably overpaying on car and home insurance now. See how much Gabby can save you. It's totally free to check, and there is no obligation. Go to Gabby.com/Howie. That's GABI.com/Howie. GABI.com/Howie.
This is Charlie Baker.
Hey, everybody. Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker here.
And these are his friends.
I may not make it through this story. And I told a story about a fisherman that I met in New Bedford. He's coming off the boat. He's a big, huge man, completely soaked in sweat and salt water.
In the world of Charlie Baker and his friends, the real world of panic porn, political leaders cannot survive without absolute power. And the public can't be expected to blindly follow orders without first hearing a made-up story.
And he started to cry, and I gave him a hug. He was a big, huge guy. It was like hugging a mountain. And then he said, "See those two kids up there?" And he said, "Those are my sons." They were both spectacular football players at New Bedford High School who were given college scholarships, and I ruined their lives. And you hear those kinds of stories every day.
And they're the only friends Charlie Baker has.
Hair loss is not one of life's more enjoyable experiences. If you're looking to fill in your hairline or reverse years of hair loss, DiStefano Hair Restoration will create a result that will be a transformative experience. The result of my IGT procedure was quite remarkable. I now have fuller, thicker hair, so I can even wear it a bit longer. There are a few major decisions I've made in my life that I wish I did sooner. My hair restoration is number one. It was by far one of the best moves I've ever made. My hair looks awesome, and the confidence from having a full head of hair again has left me feeling great. I used to look in the mirror and dreaded seeing my ever-increasing bald spot. Now when I look in the mirror, I see the new me with a full head of thick hair. For information on how to make the same choice I did, go to hairman.com/Howie. What are you waiting for? More hair to fall out?
Taylor.
Get the hair you've always wanted. Hairman.com/Howie.
Taylor.
Joe Biden's plagiarizing prowess proves one thing: he's been stealing all his life.
Why is it that Joe Biden is the first in his family ever to go to a university?
Why am I the first Kinnick in 1,000 generations to be able to get the university?
Why is it that my wife, who's sitting out there in the audience, is the first in her family to ever go to college?
Why is Glennis the first woman in her family in 1,000 generations to be able to get the university?
No, it's not because they weren't as smart.
Does anybody really think that they didn't get what we had because they didn't have the talent?
It's not because they didn't work as hard.
Or the strength, or the endurance, or the commitment. Of course not.
It's because they didn't have a platform upon which to stand.
It was because there was no platform upon which they could stand.
I should have said, to paraphrase Neil Kinnock, it's the only time I didn't, and all the times I've ever used it.
Come on, man.
What does the mainstream media really think of you? Banjos, please.
Bigots and racists. Credulous, rude, tin-toothed, working class, angry, white.
Aging, angry white guys. Angry white man.
Angry white old men. These angry white men. The angry white vote. All these angry white people. Too many of them want to see the people who are begging for change put down.
Racist.
Racist, bigoted base.
It's white privilege, it's white nationalism, it's anger, it's rage, it's insult.
They tolerate a certain level of racism.
1 in 3 Americans are racist.
The credulous boomer Rube demo.
Y'all elitists are dumb.
You elitists with your geography and your maps and your spelling. Even though my
math and your reading.
Yeah, you're reading.
They're too far gone.
Look at them. They're high-fiving each other, and they're going to go back, to the Olive Garden and to the Holiday Inn that they're staying at in the Garden Marriott, and they're going to have some drinks.
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
Go to HowieCarrShow.com and you can check out my latest column. I wrote an internet-only column today. I took the complaint that the Joker, Sarniev, filed in federal court in Colorado, and I wrote about it. What kind of jihadist is he when he wants to have a shower every day? He's suing to get a shower every day rather than 3 a week. And they took away his baseball cap. Not his grenade launcher or his Yazidi child bride. He sued them because they took away his white baseball cap and his bandana. He wants $250,000 as a serial killer from Cambridge.
Howie, what happens? So if you're in prison and you sue and you win, does it all go towards like the canteen fund?
I
What
think
do you
it
do
does.
with the money?
I think it does. It just goes into the canteen fund. He's doing life without parole, although, I still think that there's a good chance that he will get a parole or a pardon down the road. I mean, even Biden and Kamala Harris aren't radical enough to do that. But who knows who the president will be in 20 or 30 years? I wouldn't be surprised. Incidentally, when I started today, I had 79,000 followers on Twitter, and now I'm down another 200. There's a line from a Jay Giles band song. It's hard to see love coming, but it's easy to see it go. Same thing with Twitter followers.
Mm-hmm.
What do we call this? Twexit?
Yes, it is. It's Twex. I mean, I'm not angry or anything. It's one of those things, and probably we're going to check out as soon as we can make sure that Parler is back. And I'm praying that Parler comes back very shortly. We'll probably be checking out as well. But it's just weird to see this happening this fast in real time.
But Howie, some people are saying that it's actually in the long run, it will be a good thing that they did it in such a non-subtle fashion, because it really does. It's jolting to people and it wakes you up. And even if you're a little bit, more liberal, you have to see this for what it is. I mean, it's censorship.
Yeah, I mean, there's a torrent of this stuff. I could spend probably 2 segments just going over all the stuff. There was just one that a bill was just filed by a congresswoman from California. Did you see this one, Grace?
No, I don't think I did.
She wants to ban any building from being named after Donald J. Trump. That's all she's got to do. Her name is Sanchez.
Priorities.
Right. Reddit has taken down one of the chat rooms or whatever you call them, threads for Donald J. Trump. All this stuff is happening as we speak. It's ridiculous. And they apparently Spotify won't take charges to any Trump affiliated stores. I mean, what are they trying to do here?
And Pinterest and all of these other platforms are banning him. I didn't know that, Trump had a real stronghold on Pinterest, but he does not anymore. But Howie, what I wanted to mention about the Twitter followers, you said that you lost 200 followers. And Jake Tapper actually over the weekend was making fun of people who were mentioning that, because it's really funny when it's not you. Like, you know, some people built up a base like yourself, Howie, on Twitter, and they depend on it to either get their message out or their column out or their new book out. Yeah. For a lot of people, it's a part of their livelihood. And so Jake Tapper was mocking those people, and he said, you know, something along the lines of, I would tell you how many Twitter followers I've lost, but I'm an adult and I don't keep track. And then,
that is
as always,
oh, can we have a BS detector?
We don't even
analyze that statement, please.
Howie, we don't even need a BS detector, because what we have is the way back machine called the internet. And it turns out that in 2011, Jay Tapper was saying something like, only 10 more people till I get to 100,000. Who wants to be the lucky Hundy? So he was counting his followers. Oh. It's like they don't think that we can look back on their old tweets.
Yeah, I don't know. You've lost some too, Grace. I think the rule of thumb right now is about the average conservative person on Twitter has lost about 10%, right?
Yeah, but it makes me feel better because Twitter stocks have lost about 10%
right,
too.
Exactly.
It all comes out in the wash.
I'm not losing any sleep over this thing.
No, I mean, I really think this is going to be, in the long run, a very bad move for Jack Dorsey, but we shall see. Howie, speaking of Twitter, Andrew Cuomo tweeted out today around 11:48 a.m. And I want to see, Howie, if you notice a change of tone from America's governor. We simply cannot stay closed until the vaccine hits critical mass. The cost is too high. We will have nothing left to open. We must reopen the economy, but we must do it smartly and safely.
Smartly. I love that word, smart or smartly. That's another word the beautiful people have hijacked.
Now that we're 8 days away from Joe Biden becoming president, the cost is too high. If it were Trump, the cost, you can't have a high enough cost.
No, I saw the Boston schools are going to be the school buildings are going to start reopening now too. Same thing. All these people, they're like the birds on a telephone line, as Eugene McCarthy said way back when, the senator from Minnesota. He said one bird flies onto the wire, they all fly onto it. One bird flies off the wire, they all fly onto it. So Cuomo is the guy who's calling the shots in the Northeast. When he does something, all the other birds fly onto the wire and they start opening stuff up.
No, right. And Howie, just to your point, it's so politically motivated because there's a story in the Federalist. It's called Sunday Political Show Shift from Coronavirus to Impeachment. It's by Tristan Justice, who's a really great writer. And he said, according to the transcripts pulled from Gradian, that's a multimedia subscription service, he said ABC's This Week mentioned impeachment 32 times, as did Fox News 26 times, NBC's Meet the Press 20 times, and CNN's State of the Union 18 times. Each mentioned coronavirus fewer than 10. It's like, I keep saying this, but the subtlety, there's no nuance with the left. It's just so obvious. And Howie, I like your take on this. I always thought that, it was Republicans versus Democrats when it came to, running for office and the wielding of the power. But I'm really starting to blame Joe Biden less, and I'm really starting to blame big tech more. Big tech and the media, I think, are really what's dividing the country. It's not AOC. It's Jack Dorsey.
Yeah. And, in the old days, the New York Times, CBS, the Washington Post, they had all this power, but it wasn't nearly as concentrated. They didn't have nearly as much money at their disposal. Their capitalization wasn't but a fraction of what these big tech corporations are.
Right. And Molly Hemingway said on Fox this weekend, it's almost a collusion between big tech, big media, and the Democratic Party to completely wipe out a political movement that has 75 million Americans in it. And I'm hoping, Howie, that the silver lining of all this is that some conservatives will get together and start creating their own Amazons and their own Spotifys and their own, companies, so that they're not beholden to the whims of these far left social justice warriors when they decide that, what you're saying doesn't work for us anymore.
I hope so. I hope so. I hope technology will eclipse Amazon just as it eclipsed, the Sears and Roebuck. Or Kmart, there's always a new technological innovation, and I hope the people who make the next $1 billion Amazon type corporation, they don't have to be conservatives, but could they at least believe in the United States Constitution? and
yeah, they don't
free
have to be
speech.
conservatives, but could they be a little bit less like Jeff Bezos?
Could you be Americans?
So
Would it be
much to
asking
ask?
too much for them to be to act in an American way, to believe in freedom of speech and diversity of opinion?
Grace's News is brought to you by HelloFresh. Take advantage of HelloFresh's New Year sale and get simple recipes and fresh, pre-portioned ingredients. That's my favorite part because I hate wasting food. Delivered to your door, contact-free. Right now, get 10 free meals, including free shipping, during HelloFresh's New Year sale with code Howie10 at HelloFresh.com. That's code Howie10 at HelloFresh.com. And Howie, speaking of Andrew Cuomo, I hate to dedicate my whole news segment to Fredo's older brother, but this is a story fresh out of the New York Post. It says, Cuomo urges Biden to deliver on billions in aid at State of the State address. So now he's pressuring Joe Biden to deliver billions to the state that is
Did he have
suffering.
Grace? Did he have a tin cup at the speech that he could bang on the desk? A tin cup like a beggar, you know?
Cuomo claimed Albany can't dig out of the $15 billion budget hole.
No
by
kidding.
Just hiking taxes on wealthy
Whose
New
fault
Yorkers.
is that? Is that my fault? Is that your fault? Is that the fault of the people in Plattsburgh that are listening to the show right now? No.
No, I
It's
totally
his
agree.
fault. It's all the woke legislators in Albany. It's all the woke congressional delegation like Hakeem Jeffries and AOC and Schumer and Gillibrand.
No, exactly. And Howie, just to get back onto AOC for a second, I know you were talking about Nancy Pelosi in the opening of the show, but I do want to play the cut of Pelosi's interview with Leslie Stahl and if you listen to the cut, I said this in my show before Howie's, if you listen to the cut, that's fine, but you really should try to watch it because Pelosi's face when Leslie Stahl has the gall to bring up AOC is really it's chilling. Let's play. This is cut 26.
Can we talk about the A word?
What's that?
Age.
Oh, age.
You're 80.
Right.
Your number 2, Steny Hoyer, is 81. Your number 3, Jim Clyburn, is 80. Why haven't you brought young people into the leadership?
Because we have. You perhaps don't know.
Why does AOC complain that you have not been grooming younger people for leadership?
I don't know. You'll have to ask her. Because we are.
That was kind of sharp, kind of dismissing her.
I'm not dismissing her. I respect her. I think she's very effective, as are many other members in our caucus that the press doesn't pay attention to.
You can cut it there. She respects AOC like she prays for Donald Trump. That's what I would say to that. I mean, there's no doubt that there's so much animosity between the Democrats right now, especially someone like Nancy Pelosi and someone like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who are just on the opposite ends of the party.
You know, we've been ripping Amazon today for what they've done to Parler, but do you think her district would be better off if Amazon had built the giant warehouse where they were expecting it to in Queens and Long Island City there?
Right. And I think people think of that all the time. I think people,
they do.
I mean, you would think of it no matter what, but especially now when there's just so little revenue pouring into that state and everyone's fleeing. And then you're just thinking, well, if people had jobs here that they really liked and they didn't want to leave, then maybe it wouldn't be such a mass exodus. But thanks to AOC, that's not happening.
Oh, yeah, it is. There's some great columns today about people fleeing New York. And also, although they only mentioned in passing Massachusetts and the rest of the Northeast for Florida, we're going to have a Dave Seminara on. He wrote a great column for the Wall Street Journal over the weekend about this situation. And just hope they don't turn Florida blue. That's all, Grace, you know?
Yes, like Howie always says, leave your voting habits in the old state that you're leaving. By the way, guys, I will be back later on in the show to do Hate Mail Monday. Not exactly sure what time yet, but I'll figure that out with Howie. But we got tons of good hate, Howie, from your column on Marty Walsh, the $6 million man.
6.2 million to be exact.
Oh, right.
But we go with the TV name, $6 million man. Thank you, Grace. I'll talk to you later. With Joe Biden as our new president, your home heating bills are about to start skyrocketing. But Eden Pure has a heater that will save you up to 50% on your heating bills. The Eden Pure Gen 30 classic infrared heater, you can see it right behind me there, uses state-of-the-art infrared heat to keep you warm and to heat you to the core. It's even been proven to keep you warmer than your furnace and save you money on your heating bills every month. The Gen 30 heater doesn't dry out the air in the room. This helps prevent dry skin. Don't you wish you had one right today when it's so damn cold in New England? And if you have pets or young kids around, you don't need to worry about the heater tipping over and catching fire. The Gen 30 heater has an automatic safety tip-over shut-off feature. With real wood surrounding the heater, it will look beautiful in your room, too. Don't be caught with those huge heating bills that are coming your way very shortly. Eden Pure is extending their New Year's sale, so go to EdenPure.com and put in code HowieDeal. You'll receive an extra $25 off their lowest sale price and free shipping with code word HowieDeal. This is a great deal, so order now at EdenPure.com. Eden Pure, never be cold again. I'm Howie Carr.
Howie Carr. You can trust him. He's not like the others.
Okay, let's open it up. We'll take some calls.
Are we starting to feel bad for Joe Biden? Sorta. Are we going to play his gaps anyway? Of course.
My name's Joe Biden. I'm a Democratic candidate for the United States Senate. Now we need to stand behind Jamie Harrison, the next president, next senator. I'm looking forward to appointing the first African-American woman to the United States Senate. Just like here in California, here in Nevada. Back in the spring, late fall, late spring, late winter, early fall, anyway, you know what I mean. Look, tomorrow's Superstar Tuesday. I tell you what, I'm rushing ahead, aren't I? We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing. It says you cannot have 20, 30, 40, 50 clips in a weapon. We'll see who's sleepy.
Mr. Vice President, thank you.
All right, Chuck. Thank you very much.
All right. It's Christmas.
Sometimes I wake up and I think it's 1920, not 2020.
Here's how it works with my retirement accounts, and I'll bet yours too. If your 401k, your SEP, your IRA, whatever, is going up, you probably don't think very much about it, right? But if it's going down, well, there's nothing much else you can think of. So for the last couple of years, none of us have been worrying much about those quarterly statements. But lately, it's gotten a little worrisome. It's not that bad, not yet anyway, but what goes up must come down. Now is the time to start thinking about adjusting your investments. Gold and silver have always been a hedge against stock market volatility. Uncertainty about the future has traditionally met rising prices for precious metals. Orion Metal Exchange is the only precious metals company I trust. Give Orion a call to get a free, no-obligation investment guide about protecting your future with an enduring investment in gold and silver. You've got nothing to lose and everything to gain, including peace of mind, by calling Orion Metal Exchange now. Call them today at 800-912-2300. And with Orion, you'll get more metal for your money. Call 800-912-2300. That's 800-912-2300.
What deal can we have, Crazy Nancy?
The Constitution does not say that a person can shout wolf in a crowded theater.
But to be clear, you're not taking any arrows out of your quiver. You're not ruling anything out.
Good morning. Sunday morning. Chocolate, candy, chocolate, and then we have some other chocolate here. Consistently practice social distancing.
Why does AOC complain that you have not been grooming younger people for leadership?
I don't know. You'll have to ask her.
That was kind of sharp.
I'm not a big needle taker. I had a hard time getting my ears pierced. I'm not a big needle taker. Mother Earth is angry. She's telling us.
What do you think is causing this erratic behavior?
I think that the president has always had erratic behavior. I have ice cream in my freezer. I guess that's better than having Lysol in somebody's lungs.
Civilization as we know it is at stake.
I don't drink, but I'm happy to have ice cream with anybody, anytime.
He's the undisputed king of New England talk radio.
No brag, just fact.
Howie Carr.
844-500-4242 at powerlineblog.com. John Heinderacker says, here's a thought. Someone who still has a Twitter account, mine has disappeared, he says, should simply tweet Obama's words. If they bring a knife to a fight, we bring a gun. That's from the Untouchables. And see whether the tweet is banned as an incitement to violence. Well, how about this from Pelosi? Cut 29.
As I say to them, you're in the arena. Once you get into the arena, this is again not for the faint of heart. Sunday morning, I know I just came from church mass, but nonetheless, I'll say this. When you're in the arena, you got to be ready to take a punch. You got to be ready to throw a punch for the children.
I'm triggered. Throw her off Twitter.
How dare you?
Throw a punch. She's inciting insurrection. She's a traitor. Last week, if they disagree with you, they called you a racist. Today, it'll probably change again. But right now, you're called a traitor if you disagree. But Trump never said anyone should go and throw a punch. But listen to what she says about him. Cut 25.
Well, I like the 25th Amendment because it gets rid of him. He's out of office. But there is strong support in the Congress for impeaching the president a second time. This president is guilty of inciting insurrection. He has to pay a price for that.
That's a tough word, insurrection. Very few people ever used it more than a couple of times a year until last week, and now it's on everybody's tongue, at least if you're a Democrat moonbat. Debbie, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Debbie.
Hi, Howie. I just wanted to say that Parler is down. Yeah. It went down earlier this morning because they don't have their own server, but Gab is still up and running. They have their own server, their own TV. They're really kicking it. Also, the word "wild" that Trump is being accused of inciting a riot with the word "wild." No, he used that word when he invited everybody to come to the rally. He said, "Come on down to the rally. It's going to be wild." That was where they got the word "wild."
Right. Yeah, wild doesn't necessarily mean violence, does it? It just means there's going to be wild. One synonym would be it's going to be a good time, right?
Exactly. Also, imagine this, if you will. If you have all of these people that are supposedly, all this law enforcement is going to be surrounding the inauguration, wouldn't that kind of like close in all the real insurrector people?
Insurrectionists? The real? I don't know, Debbie. Thanks for the call. Matt, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Matt.
Howie, I think the argument people are making against Trump is that he talked a lot about the election being rigged, and whether that's debatable or not, I'm not going to get into that. But I guess my larger point is, if you tell people that the world is going to end in 9 or 10 years because of climate, what will those people start to do in 9 or 10 years? What will they think? Which politicians will they attack that don't vote for their issues?
Well, how many times did they call Trump a traitor over the last 5 years and say he was Putin's puppet, and that Putin had all this blackmail material on him? I mean, isn't that going to make them somewhat less inclined to listen to rational argument about any kind of political issue if they think they're dealing with a traitor to the country?
If you tell people that follow him are Nazis and to punch a Nazi if you see them wearing a red hat, yes, that's inciting violence. So I'm not trying to make this comparison, but they're doing this in the same way that if they want to basically say Trump incited violence, which he didn't. But I mean, think about it in the other level of telling people that the police system is racist from front to back, Elizabeth Warren.
Right.
Then if you see a cop, you think that person's racist. So they are doing this on a way different level.
Yeah. And it's not an occasional tweet or an occasional speech. It's day in, day out for 5 years, everywhere. I'm Howie Carr. I recently had a dental emergency, and where did I go? Perfect Smiles. I've said this before, but this reminded me again of what a perfectionist Dr. Houghton is. He is a veneer engineer, a world-class dental artist. Being on TV, it's important that I look my best. Dr. Houghton did that for me, and he can do it for you too. Right now, when a lot of people don't want to go into the city, Perfect Smiles is conveniently located in Nashua, New Hampshire, and parking is free. I was impressed to see all the state-of-the-art safety protocols that Perfect Smiles has taken since the virus. You'll feel safe and confident when you visit Perfect Smiles. Call 1-844-A-PERFECT-SMILE, 1-844-A-PERFECT-SMILE, or go to HowieCarrShow.com and click on the Perfect Smiles banner. You can also see my video at PerfectSmiles.com. Perfect Smiles. Change your smile. Change your life.
Normally, we give Fredo Cuomo a lot of attention, but lately it's Governor Andrew Cuomo who's been grabbing headlines. Let's take a listen to some of his best moments.
You're an essential worker, so go take a job as an essential worker.
But the people aren't hiring because of the
No, there are people hiring. You can get a job as an essential worker. So now you can go to work and you can be an essential worker and you're not going to kill anyone. The number is down because we brought the number down. God did not do that. Fate did not do that. Destiny did not do that. We're not going to make America great again. It was never that great. Because I can also see you're in masterful shape, buff even. It has a very nice floral bouquet. A little I detected lilac, hydrangea, tulips. What does it smell like to you? Tulips, yes. Floral bouquet.
Because if that's who they are, and if they are the extreme conservatives, they have no place in the state of New York.
He's the gaffe that keeps on giving. Here's 1 minute of former Vice President Joe Biden.
You teachers who touch them, figuratively speaking. Trouble some of the things I say, but I want to tell you, just be straight up. If I'm your president, with me, it starts here in my gut, goes to my heart, and then I articulate it. And by the way, you know, I sit on the stand and it get hot. I got hairy legs that turn blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. 1.2 billion. So you go ahead and you stack spaghetti sauce at a store in a supermarket. You control the guy or the woman who brings out the carts on a forklift. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap, and I've loved kids jumping on my lap.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
You've been hearing me talk about Super Beets for a while now, and I'm sure some of you are still thinking, why Super Beets? You could take it from me. The benefits of Super Beets are incredible. I take them twice a day, once in the morning when I get up, even before I have my first cup of coffee, and the other time in the afternoon, right before the show. It gives me a burst of energy. It's great for my blood pressure. It's good for circulation. It just makes you feel better. If that doesn't convince you, we can talk about the science behind Super Beets. Beets have nitrates. Nitrates support better blood flow, and better blood flow equals better energy and efficiency throughout the body, and even supports healthy blood pressure. But Super Beets does so much more than eating regular beets and is unparalleled compared to other beet powders. Just one scoop of Super Beets has the nitric oxide equivalent of 3 whole beets. Go to superbeetsradio.com/Howie and try out Super Beets yourself. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie.
We are now effective today requiring all counties to close their indoor activities, their indoor operations in the following sectors: restaurants, wineries, tasting rooms. A few weeks ago, I was asked to go to a friend's 50th birthday. I made a bad mistake. Instead of sitting down, I should have stood up.
Stay at home as much as possible. Put those social gatherings on hold, including extra care for Thanksgiving.
Denver's mayor told you to stay home for Thanksgiving, then he got on a flight to go see family out of state.
Some people calling Supervisor Kuehl a hypocrite. Now, on November 24th, she voted to ban outdoor dining, and on the very same day, she was spotted eating out.
I take responsibility for trusting the word of the neighborhood salon that I've been to over the years. As it turns out, it was a setup. So I take responsibility for falling for a setup. This salon owes me an apology. What they do.
What deal can we have, Crazy Nancy?
The Constitution does not say that a person can shout wolf in a crowded theater.
But to be clear, you're not taking any arrows out of your quiver. You're not ruling anything out.
Good morning. Sunday morning. Chocolate candy, chocolate, and then we have some other chocolate here. Consistently practice social distancing.
Why does AOC complain that you have not been grooming younger people for leadership?
I don't know. You'll have to ask her.
That was kind of sharp.
I'm not a big needle taker. I mean, I had a hard time getting my ears pierced. I'm not a big needle taker. I mean, Mother Earth is angry. She's telling us.
What do you think is causing this erratic behavior?
I think that the president has always had erratic behavior. I have ice cream in my freezer. I guess that's better than having Lysol in somebody's lungs. Civilization as we know it is at stake. I don't drink, but I'm happy to have ice cream with anybody anytime.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
Here are some rapid fire questions with Taylor Cormier. If you had to live in a state besides Massachusetts, which would you choose?
Montana. No question about it. When is the last time you've heard of anything happening in Montana? The answer is you haven't. It's quiet. Nobody's going to bother you in Montana.
If you weren't a radio guy, what profession would you be in?
My number one dream job is to be an antique dealer, you know, like the American Pickers. I would love that job. Going through people's old garbage and junk and trying to find that diamond in the rough, and you're always learning as you go. It's a lot of fun to watch, and I think that's why I go antiquing on the weekends.
What is your favorite color?
Blue.
What's your favorite TV show?
The Honeymooners. Jackie Gleason is the most hilarious person on television ever.
What is your favorite soda?
I'm not a big soda guy. It's got to be a special occasion for me to drink soda, but I'm partial to Dr. Pepper.
Now's the perfect time to get a pair of premium wireless earbuds, and Raycon is the way to go. Raycon start at about half the price of other premium brands on the market, and they sound just as amazing. And Raycon's everyday E25 earbuds are their best model yet. You get 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, and a more compact design that gives you a comfortable, noise-isolating fit. Perfect for conference calls, video chats, or binging podcasts. Raycon was founded by Ray J, and celebrities like Cardi B and J.R. Smith have already given Raycons their seal of approval. I love my Raycons, and Grace loves hers, too.
Howie, I love my Raycons. Best birthday gift ever.
I listen to much better music than she does, though.
Hey, that's not true.
Now it's your turn to see what the hype is all about. Go to buyraycon.com/Howie. That's buyraycon.com/Howie. buyraycon.com/Howie. And now, a minute of wisdom from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Millennials and people and Gen Z and all these folks that come after us are looking up, and we're like, the world is going to end in 12 years if we don't address climate change.
Yeah,
and
tell
your
Grace
biggest
420's fine.
is
Okie dokie.
your biggest issue is how are we going to pay for it? And like, this is the war. This is our World War II.
I think that there's a lot of people more concerned about being precisely, factually, and semantic.
Better strap yourself in. It's time for the Howie Carr Show.
Because I think we do have the reputation as being the conservative platform, although we are nonpartisan. That is what everybody sees us as. We do see this as being politically singled out.
But this is a historic moment where Twitter has stepped in and said, no, that world leader, the United States president, is too dangerous to use our platform.
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
We boarded up the country in case Trump won, not the reverse. So spare me the cries of whataboutism.
What about
What about the COVID relief package that was held up for 8 months?
But that was their obstruction. Understand this.
Well, wait.
Was their obstruction.
Yours too.
Their obstruction.
No, yours too.
Oh, snap, snap, snap. Rump swabs, hacks, and moonbats beware. It's Howie Carr.
Did you hear how excited Humpty Dumpty Brian Stelter was at the thought of someone being stripped of his ability to communicate with 88.5 million followers on Twitter? which is just another way of saying being stripped of his First Amendment rights. He was giddy. He was exhilarated. He was ecstatic. Good Lord.
But this is a historic moment where Twitter has stepped in and said, no, that world leader, the United States president, is too dangerous to use our platform. It is an astonishing thing that technology companies like Twitter and Facebook feel they have to protect the public from the American president. They have to take away his keys because they don't trust him to get behind the wheel.
I wonder what the commentators in London said in 1661 when the restored Stuart monarchy began digging up Westminster Abbey to get to the body of Oliver Cromwell, who'd been dead for 3 years, so he could stand trial. What's the difference? What's the difference between putting King Philip's head on a pole after he's dead in the Plymouth Bay colony? Good Lord. 844-500-4242. Welcome to the Howie Carr Show. We have so much to talk about. I want to go over some of the things that have happened here to Trump supporters, to American citizens at the hands of big tech over the past few days. And it was a good column in the Federalist by Joy Pullman, and big corporate uses Capitol riots to push communist-style social credit system on Americans. And what she means is that in communist China, they economically and socially punish people for wrong think. You know, they don't necessarily immediately round you up, although sometimes you may disappear, like some of the people who were doing business with the Biden family, and it became embarrassing, and they're no longer around. Or the people who get arrested in Hong Kong and thrown into the clink. But sometimes you just kind of get banned, right? And as Joy Pullman says, we appear to be at the beginning of a massive crackdown on people who've supported Donald Trump, led by big tech and big media. And big tech is a lot more important than big media, obviously, at this point. They are using the excuse of an unrepresentative group of fools criminally ransacking the U.S. Capitol offices with a lighter touch than many of this summer's often unpunished Black Lives Matter and Antifa rioters. Would it have been nice if the FBI had been as concerned with the Black Lives Matter and Antifa riots as they were with what happened last Wednesday? I mean, look at how they've been relentlessly rounding up people, including cops that just went there. Apparently, a captain in the military had to resign her commission this week because she went to the rally in D.C. Wasn't looting, wasn't wearing a Buffalo Viking hat, whatever you want to call it. She just happened to go to peacefully exercise her constitutional rights, and now her career is ended. Probably these cops are going to lose their jobs. They're getting rid of someone at a public authority who's just a board member in Somerville, the city of Somerville, because he or she went to the quote unquote insurrection. That's what my own newspaper called it, an insurrection. What can I do? You know, some of those rioters got away with murder, attacking public buildings, including in-state capitals, arson, and stopping ambulances. They tried to burn down a federal courthouse in Portland. I think they've been trying to do it for 3 or 4 months. And stopping ambulances from bringing wounded people into hospitals for treatment. They were bailed out with help from the incoming Democrat vice president. Okay, so here's some of the stuff that's been going on. YouTube has banned all videos discussing voter fraud. Reddit shut down its Donald Trump subreddit. A few days ago, Facebook shut down the Walkaway campaign that shared stories of people who have left the Democrat Party to vote for Trump, and banned every one of the group's owners from using Facebook. The publisher of a forthcoming book by Senator Josh Hawley, the publisher is a Democrat campaign contributor, of course, by the name of Karp, cut ties with him over his support for proving to the American people that our elections are fair and free. The National Association of Realtors, quote, has revised its professional ethics code to ban hate speech and harassing speech by its 1.4 million members. To the National Association of Realtors, the people who sell houses, or it's a group of them, hate speech includes basic conservative ideas, not to actually utter racist or otherwise indefensible words. Punishment could top out at a maximum fine of $15,000 and expulsion from the organization for being a conservative. Police departments across the country have opened probes into whether any of their employees attended the Trump rally on January the 6th. They're not at all alone. Employees have begun firing people who merely attended the rally of hundreds of thousands, out of which a tiny minority broke the law. How about Forbes? Forbes magazine, or what's left of it. That's what you have to say about every magazine, what's left of it. Forbes magazine says that anyone who has anything to do with the Trump organization or the Trump administration or the Trump campaign should be banned from basically getting any kind of job in corporate America. The label of an indie musician, his name is Pink something, I don't know, terminated their relationship because he posted that he had peacefully attended the Trump protest. A Wall Street Journal article documents the firing of a lawyer for an insurance company, I believe in Texas, who posted on Instagram that he had attended peacefully. The notorious group of Never Trump grifters, the Lincoln Project, is launching a pressure campaign to ensure more firings to purge leftist political opponents from all aspects of public and private life in the name of America. America. The Wall Street Journal had a good. I've not been reading the Wall Street Journal as much lately. They're very squishy. They're the same people that own Fox. And by the way, Martha McCallum just got demoted. She's going. They're tossing her off the 7 o'clock show, putting her back to 3 o'clock. But this is a good editorial today. The progressive purge begins. Tech stampede against the right will lead to more populist anger. This is just basic common sense. This is a studying of history says anytime you try to put the brakes on a political movement and drive it underground, you're going to get it popping up in different ways. And you're not going to like the way it's going to pop up in, most likely. I mentioned today on Sebastian Gorka's show that the book Bonfire of the Vanities by Tom Wolfe. They had an Al Sharpton type Reverend Bacon. And Reverend Bacon's, they said, what do you do? He took payoffs basically from corporations and city government. And he said, I'm in steam control. If things start to get out of hand in the black neighborhoods, the pot starts building up. Someone has to take the lid off of it and let the steam go out. I'm steam control. That's what freedom of speech is, steam control. But they don't want. Can right-wing populist sentiment be banished from American life by the brute force of social media censorship? We're about to find out. After Wednesday's mob invasion, big tech firms have moved aggressively and in unison against Donald Trump and his supporters. The companies say they want to marginalize the violent fringe, but their censorship will grow it instead. Is the Wall Street Journal going to be banned for inciting violence by stating the obvious? Alexei Navalny, the Russian democracy advocate and scourge of Vladimir Putin, who was poisoned last year, points out that unlike the open election process, in which Mr. Trump was defeated, social media decisions to deplatform elected officials are arbitrary and unaccountable. Don't tell me he was banned for violating Twitter rules, Mr. Navalny tweeted. I get death threats here every day for many years, and Twitter doesn't ban anyone. Google and Apple indefinitely booted Parler from their app stores over the weekend, crippling its viability on mobile phones. Then Amazon went for the kill, announcing on Saturday it would withdraw its cloud service that Parler relies on to store data. Parler is now a political target, and it won't be the last. Sociologists have documented how America's political tribes have different tastes, live in different places, shop at different stores. Political segregation of the internet will only widen it. Now an informal confederation, I'm not sure it's that informal, of web gatekeepers is methodically destroying a competitor that was created to accommodate their views, meaning Parler. Dissenting opinion won't vanish because tech CEOs ban it. Their views will go underground. There will be no more steam control, in other words. Perhaps become radicalized in frustration and eventually burst into the open in the streets. Perceived political abuses by tech firms are becoming a major engine of populism in the 21st century, and the company's moves on Parler will supply an infusion of fuel. Amen. We'll be right back with Hate Mail Monday. We're all looking for ways to save money right now, aren't we? Especially now. Let me ask you this. How'd you like to keep an extra $961 in your pocket? That's how much Gabby customers save per year on average on car and home insurance. That's why when I was shopping for insurance, I used Gabby. This is the time of year that we go shopping for insurance. Well, Gabby takes the pain out of shopping for insurance by giving you an apples-to-apples comparison of your current coverage with 40 of the top insurance providers, including Progressive, Nationwide, and Travelers. Just link your current insurance account, and in just minutes, you'll be able to see quotes for the exact same coverage you currently have, the exact same coverage. It's fast to use Gabby, and it was easy for me. I was with my old company. I can't even remember how long. It's back to when I lived at least in Cambridge, maybe even Somerville. And I realized when I hooked up with Gabby how much I was overpaying. I should have checked years ago. I logged in with my current insurance provider. They gave me dozens of quotes, and I saw that that I could save hundreds of dollars. As I mentioned earlier, the average Gabby customer saves $961 per year. I'll bet that would be nice to have in your pocket every year.
How many soda cans would you have to turn in to save the amount of money that Gabby saved you?
I can do math pretty well. 19,000 plus.
Wow.
19,000 plus soda cans or beer cans or bottles. That's a lot. A lot. If they can't find you savings like they did for me, they'll let you know so you can relax knowing you have the best rate out there. And they'll never sell your info, so no annoying spam or robocalls. And again, there's no obligation here, no cost. Just go to Gabby.com/Howie. You're probably overpaying on car and home insurance. See how much Gabby can save you. It's totally free to check, as I said, and there's no obligation. Go to Gabby.com/Howie. That's GABI.com/Howie. GABI.com/Howie. I'm Howie Carr.
Fighting the fake news, one former Democrat stenographer with a press pass at a time.
Hey, Howie, can you pull down your mic to mouth level? It's just a little bit
Sure.
right now.
Okay, got it. It's brought to you in part by Realtor J.T. Kelly. He helped my daughter Carolyn, and he can help you too. He specializes in residential and investment sales. Contact him at 1-800-364-9200.
200 moms, dads, sons, daughters, grandparents who are no longer with us.
Want to do the poll question after Dave Seminara?
Yeah, we'll do that. That sounds good.
We'll just go right into hate mail.
1,000 people.
60,000.
660. We're in the middle of a pandemic that had cost us more than 85,000 jobs, lives of millions of people.
And now we have over 120 million dead from COVID.
200 million people have died. 205 million people, 1,000 people. 210,000 people have died. 4 million existing billion. 500,000. 50,000. A class of 25, you end up having two classes of 12, for example. But you know, in the 2020 census, which is now 2 censuses ago, the Oval back in May 9, 2019, a $15 million, $15,000, $15 minimum wage. I got to the Senate 180 years ago.
Hair loss is not one of life's more enjoyable experiences. If you're looking to fill in your hairline, or reverse years of hair loss, DiStefano Hair Restoration will create a result that will be a transformative experience. The result of my IGT procedure was quite remarkable. I now have fuller, thicker hair so I can even wear it a bit longer. There are a few major decisions I've made in my life that I wish I did sooner. My hair restoration is number one. It was by far one of the best moves I've ever made. My hair looks awesome, and the confidence from having a full head of hair again has left me feeling great. I used to look in the mirror and dreaded seeing my ever-increasing bald spot. Now when I look in the mirror, I see the new me with a full head of thick hair. For information on how to make the same choice I did, go to hairman.com/Howie. What are you waiting for? More hair to fall out? Get the hair you've always wanted. Hairman.com/Howie.
Joe Biden accuses Trump of being a racist, but if you listen to Biden's comments, you would agree that he doth protest too much.
If you take a test where you're taking cocaine or not, what do you think, huh? Are you a junkie?
The first mainstream African American who is articulate and bright and clean. Madam President, we have predators on our streets.
That kid wearing a hoodie may very well be the next poet laureate and not a gangbanger.
They are beyond the pale, many of those people.
God love you. You've been here all day. My Lord, you may feel like you're being incarcerated.
We have no choice but to take them out of society.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
I think the two-party system is good for the South and good for the Negro.
They're going to put you all back in chains. Unlike the African American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community with incredibly different attitudes about different things. If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
I've heard about you. What have you heard, Shane? I've heard that you're a low-down Yankee liar.
Howie Carr is back.
It's time for Howie Carr's Hate Mail Monday. Let the hate flow through you.
We like to check in with our fan mail, our fan emails, our fan texts, our fan voicemails. Every which way we get
the wind blows.
Lionized. Me
Yes.
and Grace and Taylor and everybody here at the Howie Carr Radio Network.
Yeah, and I was surprised, Howie, because usually your local columns don't garner as much vicious hate from people, but you wrote about the $6.2 million man being Mayor Marty Walsh, and some of the comments were not thrilled. One guy said, I already knew that you're an imbecile, but never realized that you're so bleeping stupid that you couldn't find your way out of Massachusetts. I'm always willing to help out imbeciles like you and will gladly assist you in leaving our great state. We're already glad to throw out the garbage.
What I don't understand is people wrote in some of those columns that I was a liar. Now, I just took the documents that Marty himself had filed with a state agency and used those documents as the basis of the column.
Liar. By the way, Howie Hate Mail Monday is brought to you by Piantadozzi Baking Company, celebrating over 100 years of baking excellence since 1916. They have the best bread in the game. Everyone should check them out at your local markets. Taylor, can we play the first hate mail, please?
Yeah, Grace has got her own show now. Too bad she couldn't get her own lines instead of pillaging them from every talk show in the country. Well, what do you expect from someone who has fake hair, fake teeth, fake nails, and fake tan? Doesn't even own her own clothes. Huh.
Okay, so I do rent.
Is that guy
my
a
clothes.
stalker?
I do rent my clothes.
That's
My
the only
teeth-
thing you got right, right?
My teeth are real.
Your
My-
nails are real.
My nails are real. My tan is fake. I don't even have a tan right now. I wish I had a fake tan going, but I take that as a compliment. If he thinks I look that fake, I must be looking good. Howie, another person wrote underneath your column, great column, Howie. And one of the haters came to your rescue and said, no, it was not a great column. He said, comic books have more value and more to offer than any of Howie's propaganda.
And Superman #1 sure does.
you imbecile.
Does the Office of Campaign and Political Finance now put out a comic book?
Well, Howie, you had said, Marty Walsh is the same Marty Walsh is the $1 million man. And someone wrote back and said, and you, Howie Carr, are the same jealous Trump-like man that you've always been. Taylor,
well, I must admit, I do think that's a rather impressive number, isn't it, for a guy like Marty Walsh?
Oh, yeah.
$6.2 million, and he doesn't have to give it back? And he can just spend it down for the rest of his life. That's why I laughed last week when somebody said he wants to become ambassador so he can get a federal pension. You got $6 million in the bank. You don't need to worry about getting 3-4 years in on a federal pension. I think you got to get 6 years in anyway to even vest.
Right. Let's play the next voicemail though.
1-844-500-4242. Every time I pause and I think I'm going to say something different, I just throw in 1-844-500-4242, on and on and on, every 2 or 3 minutes.
That's good. That's good. You've been trained.
Howie, I tweeted out my article about free speech and Twitter in big tech. And the responses were not that nice, but that's okay because free speech exists. Someone said, Grace Curley is simply the dumbest, cheapest grifter in the world. I wonder if a life full of pathetic MAGA mentions makes up for the friendless loser she was in high school.
Did they know you in high school?
Maybe. I mean, it's pretty dead on. No, I'm just kidding. And one more hate mail, Howie, before
that's like I've told you this, Grace. This is what's great about working and living in the state that you grew up in and went to high school in.
People keep you honest. That's for sure.
We're all so lucky here.
Thanks, Pantadosi bread.
I'm Howie Carr.
Congratulations, New England. You did it. You made it through 2 months of torturous, nonstop, ear-jarring, teeth-clenching, blood pressure-raising radio noise. Those nerve-grating Matthews carols are now just a distant memory, echoing through the canyons of your mind with no sugary aftertaste. But it's a whole new year, and we've come up with whole new ways to annoy you. For example, remember those Matthews carols you thought were just a distant memory echoing through the canyons of your mind? Well, guess what? They're now and forevermore sitting fat, dumb, and happy on the video portion of our wicked awesome website, MatthewsBrothers.com. But they're not the only videos we have out there. We also have videos on such useful topics as understanding condensation, how to properly install one of our windows, and even a video on how to get the sash back into the frame once you've accidentally removed it and there's a storm coming and the factory is closed and your wife is yelling at you to fix it now. We even got one of those. You can learn more about our wicked awesome windows and doors, but only at Better Lumber Yards and Window Professionals, or on the web at MatthewsBrothers.com. Matthews Brothers with one T, America's oldest window manufacturer.
Here's 1 minute of Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
There's a lot of restaurants that are feeling the pain of racism, where people are literally not patroning Chinese restaurants. They're not patroning Asian restaurants because of just straight up racism around the coronavirus. So, only in America does the president, when the president tweets about liberation, does he mean go back to work? When we, have this discussion about going back or reopening, I think a lot of people should just say no. We're not going back to that. I know it sounds banal. Do we know how long puppies are allowed to stay with their mothers after a dog has given birth?
I don't.
8 weeks. Wow. So the market has decided that women and people who give birth deserve less time with their children than a dog. So the whole premise of the Green New Deal is that we're screwed.
Here's how it works with my retirement accounts, and I'll bet yours too. If your 401k, your SEP, your IRA, whatever is going up, you probably don't think very much about it, right? But if it's going down, well, there's nothing much else you can think of. So for the last couple of years, none of us have been worrying much about those quarterly statements. But lately, it's gotten a little worrisome. It's not that bad, not yet anyway, but what goes up must come down. Now is the time to start thinking about adjusting your investments. Gold and silver have always been a hedge against stock market volatility. Uncertainty about the future has traditionally meant rising prices for precious metals. Orion Metal Exchange is the only precious metals company I trust. Give Orion a call to get a free, no-obligation investment guide about protecting your future with an enduring investment in gold and silver. You've got nothing to lose and everything to gain, including peace of mind, by calling Orion Metal Exchange now. Call them today at 800-912-2300. And with Orion, you'll get more metal for your money. Call 800-912-2300. That's 800-912-2300.
He's the gaffe that keeps on giving. Here's 1 minute of former Vice President Joe Biden.
Your teachers who touch them, figuratively speaking, well, I hope you touch them and tell them how much you love them too. But my point is, when you touch their hearts, I get in trouble with some things I say, but I want to tell you, just be straight up. If I'm your president, with me, it starts here in my gut, it goes to my heart, and then I articulate it. And by the way, I sit on the stand, and it get hot. I got a lot.
Hey, Howie, you got the way to introduce him right?
He's got a new book, and it's called, let me see here. It is called Footsteps of Federer.
There you go.
Spaghetti sauce at a store and in a supermarket. You control the guy or the woman who brings out the carts on a forklift. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap, and I've loved kids jumping on my lap.
We are now effective today requiring all counties to close their indoor activities, their indoor operations in the following sectors: restaurants, wineries, tasting rooms. A few weeks ago, I was asked to go to a friend's 50th birthday. I made a bad mistake. Instead of sitting down,
It's available for pre-order on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and other stores. I guess you don't have to mention Amazon, huh? Parler is suing Amazon, by the way. I don't know.
Right. No, I saw that. Yeah.
Family out of state.
Some people calling Supervisor Kuehl a hypocrite. Now, on November 24th, she voted to ban outdoor dining, and on the very same day, she was spotted eating out.
I take responsibility for trusting the word of the neighborhood salon that I've been to over the years. As it turns out, it was a setup. So I take responsibility for falling for a setup. This salon owes me an apology. What they do.
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
844-500-4242. That is the toll-free number of the Howie Carr Show. There have been several columns written recently about the situation in Florida when it comes to COVID-19, as opposed to the Northeast, which is now known as Warsaw Pact West, especially New York State, but also Massachusetts, et cetera, et cetera. And one of them was written by Dave Seminara, and he's a columnist for the Wall Street Journal. And he's also the author of a new book, Footsteps of Federer, which is available for pre-order on that company that we've been talking about today, which you might want to use BarnesandNoble.com, barnesandnoble.com, or just wait till it comes out in your local bookstore. But he just moved to Florida recently with his family. And this is a message to the haters from Florida man. The pandemic has taken a toll here, but the per capita COVID-19 death rate in Florida is 23rd in the country, well behind strict lockdown states like New York, New Jersey, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Illinois, Michigan, and many others. As a parent to boys in 5th and 7th grades, I thank God that their education isn't being hijacked by blue state liberals who take their marching orders from the teachers union. There is no state individual income tax here in Florida, and the tax foundation rates the state's business tax climate the 4th best in the country. There's much more in this column. It's a great column in the Wall Street Journal today. Dave Seminara, thanks for being with us here on the Howie Carr Show.
Howie, thank you so much for having me back on the show and for that great introduction.
You know, I thought that you were taking your cue, and so was Carol Markowitz in the New York Post today. Hers is Florida puts New York to shame in rational pandemic policies. You see the press conferences that Governor Ron DeSantis has down here in Florida, and you got these reporters for these papers seem angry that the state is not locked down, even though I'm sure their papers are more financially healthy because of it. Not to mention the mental health in the state is better. But they're angry, and they keep asking him, why aren't you locking the state down? And why do we have all these infections, which doesn't mean you're going to die. It just means you test positive. And he came up with something 2 or 3 weeks ago. He said at one of these press conferences, if the state of Florida is doing such a bad job, how come everybody wants to move down here from all those states that you think are doing such a great job? I thought that was a perfect answer.
Yeah. Well, Howie, this is, I tried to approach the topic in a very broad way in the column. I touched on a lot of different things, but, the media thinks we're really stupid down here. Let's be honest, is that we're attacked in the media and really around the country as sort of a laughing stock state. We're a joke state. And, a lot of people just assume we are the country's stupidest state. And I really thought after living here for a year and a half, I felt it was unfair. So I looked at so many different metrics, not just COVID infection rates, but all kinds of different metrics: high school dropout rates, SAT scores, percentage of people with a college degree, accidental deaths, corruption, crime, you name it. And we're not last or near last in any category. And I started to develop more and more information about this. And I thought, well, this is a total joke. And in fact, we're not anywhere near the dumbest state in America. And, I hate to pick on any other states, but I would say, for example, by all the achievable metrics, Delaware, for example, is a lot dumber than we are.
Look at who they elected to the Senate for all those years. Speaks for itself.
Yeah, exactly. Like, for example, accidental death rate, for example. This is one I looked at. Florida is nowhere near the bottom of accidental death rates. And Delaware, for example, has a much higher accidental death rate, Howie. And I don't know if that's because people like to chase the tails of German shepherds there and pull them, or if that's just Joe Biden who does stuff like that. What do you think?
I was talking to a friend of mine who was down here from Boston, who was down here this weekend. And do you know what he was doing down here, Dave? He was house hunting. He was doing his I don't know how. I'm sure you have people like that. You run into people. They're not down there for vacations anymore, or the vacation and they're house hunting at the same time because they can't wait to get out of all of these states, not just New York State.
And they're coming here to get vaccines too. We've got vaccine tourists because it's easier to get them here, supposedly, than it is up north.
Right.
Listen, Howie, to that point, I got a statistic that I dug out here. I actually added all these up myself, but over the last 10 years, Florida has had a higher net migration than all 25 of the states that voted for Joe Biden combined.
I know. I read that.
That says it all, doesn't it?
My friend who flew back last night, he called me this morning and he said that on the plane back, everybody to Boston, everybody was bitching and moaning, saying, "Oh my God, why do we have to go back?" And then you step off the plane, and immediately these announcements from the loudspeaker. It used to be, "Welcome to Boston, the cradle of liberty, home of the world champion Red Sox and New England." Now it's, "There is a COVID lockdown going on. Contact tracers will meet you at the baggage claims." And it's like, again, like you're entering an Iron Curtain country. And they wonder why people are checking out.
You love it here, Howie.
What?
I know you love it. I know you love it down here, Howie. I actually thought about you when I was writing this column, to be honest with you. But hey, one thing though, anybody who listens to your police blotter though every Friday afternoon, as I do,
yeah.
I mean, you got to admit, though, there are a lot of Florida man stories. So I kind of had to get past that because, listen, I hear about all this crime going on down here in Florida, weird crime, just from listening to your police blotter every Friday that I wouldn't have even known about otherwise. I mean, we do produce a lot of funny news stories down here, but I swear we are not America's dumbest state.
Right. Well, as you quoted Dave Barry as saying, they do have an unusually large percentage of low IQ people doing stupid things, frequently naked. I mean, but that has something to do with the climate. Carolyn Markowitz in the New York Post said today that she got warning. She flew into Palm Beach International last week. Her friend said, "Be careful down there. No one wears a mask." I don't think I don't think her friends understood. That's one of the reasons why she was going down to Florida. In Florida, we saw the smiling faces of strangers for the first time in 9 months. It's hard to overstate how much that mattered to our well-being and the feeling of normality. There's also the element of pandemic fatigue. It's a lie, though, that Floridians aren't taking the coronavirus seriously. What they have done is discard the policies that don't work while retaining the ones that do. That's it. That's it exactly.
Oh, I think so. I mean, I think, let's be honest, when all those photos of spring breakers here in Florida went viral back in March, as I mentioned in the column, I was getting messages from friends of mine, even in other countries, who are like, "Oh my gosh, you idiots in Florida! What on earth are you doing?" I mean, the media sort of relishes stupid Florida stories, but the thing is, I think they really wanted something awful to happen to us down here. They wanted there to be a ton of COVID tests. I'm just going to be blatant because they wanted to look at us and be like, look at these idiots down in Florida. They're partying and now they've got the highest COVID rate.
Well, remember the columnist for the Miami Herald said she hoped that all the supporters of Donald Trump and Governor DeSantis and the mayor of Miami, who's also a Republican, would all get COVID and die. And again, her newspaper is in bankruptcy. It's owned by McClatchy, which is basically a zombie company, and she's hoping that it gets worse. I don't get it.
Howie, I do have to also apologize. I did take one. I don't know if it's a cheap shot, but I did take one shot at Massachusetts in your column. I don't know if you noticed it.
Which, let's see.
About the driving. About the bad
that's
drivers.
right.
Now, Florida drivers are kind of legendary that they're some of the worst drivers in the country. But supposedly, according to the statistics, Massachusetts has the most at-fault accidents per capita of any state in the country.
Yeah, you called us smarty pants, Massachusetts. I didn't take that as an insult. I just thought you were dealing with reality.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The only thing I will say about Massachusetts, though, is that the traffic is way down now because of the lockdowns, whereas it's more normal in Florida. And Florida tends to slow down a lot in rain because of the elderly drivers, I think personally. But, again, I think I think there's a reason why Florida is becoming, such a magnet, even more so than it has been in the past.
I love it here. I think it's a wonderful state. We're not the most corrupt state. We are not the most obese state. We don't have the most smokers. There's all kinds of wonderful things about Florida. We're not near the last of any ranking. In fact, we are near the top in a lot of rankings, surprisingly.
Yeah, I know. It's and DeSantis. I hope DeSantis runs for president in 2024.
Me too.
He would be a great candidate.
He's already built up. He's already pissed off all of the right people, hasn't he? All the people that I really dislike absolutely hate him.
That would be a good lead for a column by you or me or anybody. Ron DeSantis has pissed off all the right people. Yeah.
He has. They despise the man.
Yeah, and they just get so angry. You don't see the Palm Beach Post, the Palm Beach Daily News. They're so angry about Donald Trump moving back here. Liz, let me read you the headline on today's front page, or yesterday's. Mar-a-Lago revelers ignore virus protocols. And then, what they don't put in, and they didn't get sick or die, the bastards. Mar-a-Lago's indifference to enforcing public health protocols to control the coronavirus is revealed on social media. Oh, no! Oh, no!
The hatred it's palpable, isn't it?
It is. We sat next to him for 40 minutes, one visitor said of the president. He said it was going to be bad, but nobody really knew it was the worst kind of bad. Was it really the worst kind of bad, Dave? I wonder about that. Anyway, it's a great column. And what's the title of your new book that people can order?
It's called Footsteps of Federer. It's about traveling around Switzerland in search of all kinds of things about Roger Federer. It's a really funny book. Check it out.
That's good. And you don't have to order it on that company that starts with an A that's trying to shut Parler down. You can order it on bn.com.
You can order it from Barnes & Noble. You can also order it from independent bookstores too, even better.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. That's even better. Yeah. I'm getting my used books from there's these used book sites. You don't have to go to Amazon. Go to the used book sites. You don't have to order Amazon off the publishers. The publishers all have their own websites. You don't have to patronize people who are trying to put us out of business. Dave Seminara, thanks for being with us here on the Howie Carr Show. It's a great column. It's in the weekend Wall Street Journal. With the incoming administration barging their way into office, this may cause some economic disturbance. Tax laws are going to change. Your tax burden on selling real estate will grow. Don't get caught flat-footed and squander the equity in your real estate that you've built up over the course of years or maybe even decades. Sell today with J.J. Manning. For over 40 years, J.J. Manning has been the leading auction house in New England. From high-end homes to estates to commercial properties throughout New England, J.J. Manning can get your property sold fast and contingency-free. There is a big reason why Mass Lawyers Weekly voted J.J. Manning #1 for 4 consecutive years. Because they have a huge following of bidders who pay cash. When you sell with a broker, you pay the commission. But in an auction, the buyer pays. This is a treacherous time in the real estate market. Commercial property, at least in New England, is down. Residential property outside the cities is up. But inside the cities, forget about it. It's tough to figure out which way to turn. To learn more on how to get your property sold fast, contact Charlie Gill at jjmanning.com. With over 16,000 sales and satisfied clients, you could be the next one. Call them today at 800-521-0111 or go to jjmanning.com to get your property sold. 800-521-0111. I'm Howie Carr.
Follow Howie on Twitter at Howie Carr Show. You won't regret it.
We are now, effective today, requiring all counties to close their indoor activities, their indoor operations in the following sectors: restaurants, wineries, tasting rooms. A few weeks ago, I was asked to go to a friend's 50th birthday. I made a bad mistake. Instead of sitting down, I should have stood up.
Stay at home as much as possible. Put those social gatherings on hold, including extra care for Thanksgiving.
Denver's mayor told you to stay home for Thanksgiving, then he got on a flight to go see family out of state.
Some people calling Supervisor Kuehl a hypocrite. Now, on November 24th, she voted to ban outdoor dining, and on the very same day, she was spotted eating out.
I take responsibility for trusting the word of the neighborhood salon that I've been to over the years. As it turns out, it was a setup. So I take responsibility for falling for a setup. This salon owes me an apology. What they do.
You've been hearing me talk about Super Beets for a while now, and I'm sure some of you are still thinking, why Super Beets? You could take it from me. The benefits of Super Beets are incredible. I take them twice a day, once in the morning when I get up, even before I have my first cup of coffee, and the other time in the afternoon, right before the show. It gives me a burst of energy. It's great for my blood pressure. It's good for circulation. It just makes you feel better. If that doesn't convince you, we can talk about the science behind Super Beets. Beets have nitrates. Nitrates support better blood flow, and better blood flow equals better energy and efficiency throughout the body, and even supports healthy blood pressure. But Super Beets does so much more than eating regular beets and is unparalleled compared to other beet powders. Just one scoop of Super Beets has the nitric oxide equivalent of 3 whole beets. Go to superbeetsradio.com/Howie and try out Super Beets yourself. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie.
Watch out, Joe Biden. You might have to share some of the spotlight because your running mate, Senator Kamala Harris, is certainly grabbing some attention for her own gaffes.
She was part of our culture. Yes, we wear those notorious B.I.G. t-shirts with a lot of pride.
Best rapper alive, Tupac. You say he lives on.
Not a lie.
I know. I keep doing that.
A Harris administration together with Joe Biden as the president of the United States. The Biden-Harris administration. We have got to, in America, reimagine how we are accomplishing public safety. And let's be clear, there is no vaccine.
Reminding you, poll question.
No, I got it.
That is approved and even distributed before the election. Would you get it?
Well, I think that's going to be an issue for all of us. I will say that I would not trust Donald Trump.
He's the smartest guy in the room.
I think Papa has it all figured out. Figured out and wrapped up in tissue paper with pink ribbons on it.
Howie Carr is back.
Make 2021 your healthiest year yet with Super Beets Heart Chews. I'm holding them up for the camera right now. Get a free 30-day supply of Super Beets Heart Chews plus a free 30-day supply of their new delicious flavor, Super Grapes, with your first purchase at superbeetsradio.com/Howie. Taylor, what's the poll question? What are the results thus far?
Who's Trump's biggest backstabber? Bill Barr, Chris Christie, Nikki Haley, Lisa Murkowski, Mike Pence, Mitt Romney, Tom Tillis, or Pat Toomey?
They're all worthy or unworthy choices, but I'm going with Bill Barr.
Bill Barr has a commanding lead at 47%, followed by Mitt Romney at 19%. Chris Christie and Mike Pence are tied at 15%.
All right. 844-500-4242. That's the toll-free number of the Howie Carr Show. Rocky, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Rocky.
Hey, Howie, thanks for taking my call. Hey, I had a couple things I wanted to run by you. I was so proud of Marty Walsh getting chosen. That's one thing. And hey, I'm actually, my name is Lee Majors, and I'm the $6 million man, not that idiot. And one other thing, Howie, if you were a gambling man, who do you think's more educated, Jethro Bodine or Maxine Waters?
It's, talk about inciting violence. Didn't she? She's incited violence over the years. Didn't she say get in people's faces? I mean, is that an insurrection? Get in people's faces? And as John Heineracker said on PowerlineBlog.com earlier today, what about when Barack Obama quoted the Untouchables? What was it, Elliot Ness or whoever it was, saying if they have a knife, you bring a gun. He said that. So is that inciting violence? We have all those cuts. We didn't get around to playing them on Friday, but maybe we should put those on a loop. Taylor, that would be a good loop. Just Democrats inciting an insurrection, their favorite word, insurrection. Ann, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Ann.
Hi, Howie. Hi.
Hi.
I'm so mad. I just get a letter of email from Catherine Clark.
Oh, God.
Comrade Clark, telling us that the president, you ready for this, whipped everyone into a violent frenzy. That was the word she used to attack the Capitol. Whipped into a violent frenzy. And sent it to every constituent that gets her email. I don't know why I get her email. I can't stand her. Can you imagine? I wrote back and I said, this is a lie. This is an out-and-out lie. You haven't even listened to the transcript. Yeah. How can you say this?
And ask her for a citation. Ask her when whipping them into a frenzy by saying they should demonstrate peacefully and patriotically. That's whipping them into a frenzy?
A violent frenzy. Violent frenzy. Can you imagine? Is my congressman, even if I'm the one person that voted for Donald Trump, she represents me just as much as she does all those idiots in Cambridge. I'm so angry. I can't even see straight. This woman is so in over her head.
I know this is what the voters of that district, Ed Markey's old district, so they've been making bad votes for a very long time. No matter how they gerrymandered the district, this is what you get for electing a drifter from Colorado. She just drifted into the state and got elected. Thanks for the call, Ann. I don't blame you for being PO'd. Sean, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Sean.
Hey, Howie. What you were saying about publishing and going through Amazon, that can be pretty tough for, like small authors like I am. We don't, with small independent publishers, a lot of them are self-published, and Amazon is practically the only place in town where you can go.
I understand that, Sean, but there've got to be other ways to go, don't there?
No, I wish there were, but at the moment, that's tough.
I know it's and again, I'm on Amazon, and the thing is, if I sell a book through Amazon, Amazon gets like $5 of it, and that's $5 that they can use to suppress freedom of speech, right? So if there's some way that I can avoid giving them the $5 every however often it is, or buying products that I like to use from Amazon, I'm going to try to do that. I'm Howie Carr. With Joe Biden as our next president, your home heating bills are about to start skyrocketing. But Eden Pure will save you up to 50% on your heating bills. The Eden Pure Gen 30 Classic Infrared Heater uses state-of-the-art infrared heat to warm you to the core. It's even been proven to keep you warmer than your furnace and to save you money on your heating bills every month. The Gen 30 heater doesn't dry out the air in the room. This helps prevent dry skin. And if you have pets or young kids around, you don't have to worry about the heater tipping over and catching fire. The Gen 30 heater has an automatic safety tip-over shutoff feature. With real wood surrounding the heater, it will look beautiful in your room, too. Don't be caught with huge new heating bills. Eden Pure is extending their New Year's sale. So go to EdenPure.com and put in code HowieDeal. You'll receive an extra $25 off their lowest sales price and free shipping with code word HowieDeal. This is a great deal, so order now at EdenPure.com. Eden Pure, never be cold again.
What impact do you think Russian interference had in the election?
I think it was one of the major contributors to the outcome.
Years from the 2016 election, and Hillary Clinton still can't accept the results. Take a listen.
You know, you can run the best campaign. You can be the person who gets the nomination. You could lose. I believe he knows he's an illegitimate president. He knows.
The one thing that Trump is fearful of when it comes to his being president is that finally we will see how illegitimate his victory actually was.
This wasn't on the level. Flashing videos that appear and then disappear, and they're on the dark web and nobody can find them. It's like applying for a job and getting 66 million letters of recommendation and losing to a corrupt human tornado. So maybe there does need to be a rematch. I mean, obviously, I can beat him again. So of course he's obsessed with me.
President Trump is clearly ethically unfit and intellectually unprepared to be the president of the United States. And I support Chairwoman. In the coming weeks, the House will hold hearings. Congresswoman Harris, Senator Harris. He's our president, and I would rather he not be taking something that has not been approved, especially in his age group and in his, shall we say, weight group, what is morbidly obese, they say. So completely inappropriate in so many ways that it's almost a given. It's like a child who comes in with mud on their pants or something. That's the way it is. They're outside playing. That's what it. He comes in with doggy doo on his shoes, and everybody who works with him has that on their shoes too. But I only will do that if you tell me that this legislation is worthy of George Kirby's name. This moment of national anguish.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
Now's the perfect time to get a pair of premium wireless earbuds, and Raycon is the way to go. Raycon start at about half the price of other premium brands on the market, and they sound just as amazing. And Raycon's everyday E25 earbuds are their best model yet. You get 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, and a more compact design that gives you a comfortable, noise-isolating fit. Perfect for conference calls, video chats, or binging podcasts. Raycon was founded by Ray J, and celebrities like Cardi B and J.R. Smith have already given Raycons their seal of approval. I love my Raycons, and Grace loves hers, too.
Howie, I love my Raycons. Best birthday gift ever.
I listen to much better music than she does, though.
Hey, that's not true.
Now it's your turn to see what the hype is all about. Go to buyraycon.com/Howie. That's buyraycon.com/Howie. Buyraycon.com/Howie.
I want to be clear in how I characterize this. This is mostly a protest. It is not generally speaking, unruly.
That ain't a riot, what we're seeing right now in Minneapolis. They are strictly principled anti-fascists.
No organization is perfect. There was some violence.
Any reasonable person would say we shouldn't be destroying other people's property, but these are not reasonable times.
I argue to you tonight, all punches are not equal morally.
But thank goodness for the looters, man.
And please, show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
Do not get it twisted and think that, oh, this is something that has never happened before, and then this is so terrible, and where are we, and these savages and all of that. This is how this country was started.
People get mad and people get sick of it. People are risking COVID to explain to this country that we're fed up.
I want to be clear in how I characterize this. This is mostly a protest. It is not generally speaking unruly.
That ain't a riot, what we're seeing right now in Minneapolis. They are strictly principled anti-fascists.
No organization is perfect. There was some violence.
Any reasonable person would say we shouldn't be destroying other people's property, but these are not reasonable times.
I argue to you tonight, all punches are not equal morally.
But thank goodness for the looters, man.
And please, show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
Do not get it twisted and think that, oh, this is something that has never happened before, and then this is so terrible, and where are we, and these savages and all of that. This is how this country was started.
People get mad and people get sick of it. People are risking COVID to explain to this country that we're fed up.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
This is Charlie Baker.
Hey, everybody. Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker here.
And these are his friends.
I can't tell you how many times in the past couple of months, somebody I know has told me a story.
In the world of Charlie Baker and his friends, the real world of panic porn, political leaders cannot survive without absolute power. And the public can't be expected to blindly follow orders without first hearing a made-up story.
Somebody I know has told me a story about how they got it, and it all goes back every single time to some informal gathering where nobody wore masks, nobody kept their distance, and the virus spread.
It's a confusing, nonsensical, follow-the-science world. But it's the only world they know.
I mean, it's pretty common at this point that that's where a big piece of this is coming from.
And they're the only friends Charlie Baker has.
Hair loss is not one of life's more enjoyable experiences. If you're looking to fill in your hairline or reverse years of hair loss, DiStefano Hair Restoration will create a result that will be a transformative experience. The result of my IGT procedure was quite remarkable. I now have fuller, thicker hair, so I can even wear it a bit longer. There are a few major decisions I've made in my life that I wish I did sooner. My hair restoration is number one. It was by far one of the best moves I've ever made. My hair looks awesome, and the confidence from having a full head of hair again has left me feeling great. I used to look in the mirror and dreaded seeing my ever-increasing bald spot. Now when I look in the mirror, I see the new me with a full head of thick hair. For information on how to make the same choice I did, go to hairman.com/Howie. What are you waiting for? More hair to fall out? Get the hair you've always wanted. Hairman.com/Howie. I've seen a lot of Anchor cupcakes in my day. Here are some of the latest network nitwits.
And he says, if I'm elected president, I will push for a constitutional amendment to impose term limits on all members of Congress. Correct me, there already are term limits, so what does he mean?
And what are we hearing in the background? Is that shelling?
No, Katie, you're actually hearing that from here in Jerusalem, and it's actually fireworks going off right behind me.
We're in our tribes, we're in our corners most of our lives. I think we just heard some gunshots. Should we listen to that for a second, control room? So that's not gunshots? Okay.
Ivanka is not the second lady. She is actually, I don't think she deserves this position. She's actually a senior advisor to the president. So the idea that he would demean her specifically in that way.
Better strap yourself in. It's time for the Howie Carr Show.
Because I think we do have the reputation as being the conservative platform, although we are nonpartisan. That is what everybody sees us as. We do see this as being politically singled out.
But this
is a historic moment where Twitter has stepped in and said, no, that world leader, the United States president, is too dangerous to use our platform.
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
We boarded up the country in case Trump won, not the reverse. So spare me the cries of whataboutism.
What about What about the COVID relief package that was held up for 8 months?
But that was their obstruction. Understand this.
Well, wait.
Was their obstruction.
Yours too.
Their obstruction.
No, yours too.
Oh, snap, snap, snap.
Rump swabs, hacks, and moonbats beware. It's Howie Carr.
844-500-4242. Remember when Donald Trump was running for president? It was election eve, and he was in Manchester, New Hampshire, on his way to Grand Rapids. Everybody thought he was going to lose, and he said, should I read this letter? And he pulled a letter out of his pocket. And you know who the letter was from? Do you recall this? I do, because I was there that night in Manchester at the rally. The letter was from Bill Belichick, and it was basically endorsing him, the coach of the Patriots. And people said, that's it. I'll never watch the Patriots again. So the more things change, the more they're the same. So now President Trump says he's going to give Bill Belichick, the six-time Super Bowl champ, he's going to give him the Presidential Medal of Freedom. And the Boston Globe is warning sternly the coach of the Patriots, don't go to Washington. Belichick.
So we called back. We said, do you think that Mr. Trump could read that letter to the people of New Hampshire? And he said, absolutely, if you'd like. He said, but do me a favor, don't read that letter. Let me send one that's a little bit different. So I figured he was going to take all the good things out, right? Like most gutless people do. Gutless. But he's the opposite. He's a champ. So he sent me the new letter, and it was much better.
Belichick would risk serious fallout in his locker room by accepting the invitation from the embattled president. Oh, and in a related development, Senator Ed Markey, Mr. Frosty, and Representative Jim McGovern, who's still in mourning, still wears black every day because Fidel Castro isn't coming down for breakfast. They call on Bill Belichick to decline the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Markey has issued a statement saying that he thinks the coach of the Boston Patriots should not. Remember that? That was 4 years ago. He said the Boston Patriots had won the Super Bowl. Four years ago. That was how many years? 47 years after they'd left Boston.
American history was made last night. The Boston Patriots won the Super Bowl.
The Boston Patriots. Now he's admonishing Coach Belichick, don't go down to Washington. Time now for the Trump line.
We now live in a world where Dzhokhar Tsarnaev can tweet, but Donald Trump cannot.
How about the Ayatollah? The Ayatollah and his regime has killed even more people than the Joker, and he hasn't been banned from Twitter. Remember 4 years ago when everybody was talking about violence in the Capitol, and Madonna wanted to blow up the White House, and remember how all those celebs and those A-listers and B-listers and C-listers, they were all banned from Twitter? No, I don't remember it either.
Hey, Howie, if Trump needs a new Twitter handle, might I suggest Pierre Delecto II?
That, of course, is Mitt Romney's handle when he would post things like, that Mitt Romney, why doesn't he get a Profiles in Courage award? That was Pierre Delecto would send that out. The Chump Line is brought to you by Matthews Brothers, America's oldest window manufacturer. And we're old enough to remember a time when social media accounts like Twitter and Facebook were available to all users and allowed open, free conversations. a time when you could also choose Parler or Gab as your platform. How quickly times have changed. Parler is suing Amazon in the Pacific Northwest, I guess in Seattle, Seattle, and it's the case has been assigned to a Jimmy Carter appointee. So I guess we have a good opening indication of how the case is going to go. Jimmy Carter, that person has got to be on senior status, I'm thinking. Senior status, meaning they're still getting paid and coming into work once a week or so they can get full pay rather than subsist on a mere pension.
Secret Service log, January 22nd. The big guy is safely aboard basement 1. Repeat, big guy safely aboard basement 1.
Basement 1, I like that. 603 says, I heard you on the radio this afternoon talking about alternatives to Amazon Prime. My wife and I also feel the same. We may not get rid of Amazon Prime altogether. That's the way, yeah, exactly. That's the way I feel. But it will not be our first go-to. We may use it to find a product and then try to go directly to the manufacturer. And then it says, and even pay a little extra to avoid Amazon. We're also going to going to an alternative to Google called DuckDuckGo.com. We're also going to wean ourselves off of Facebook. I never was on Facebook. I got the show has an account, and go to Parler when it's available again. We are so upset we can't see straight. I hope others will follow. I think it'll take a while, but it's not taking a while for people to leave Twitter. I'll tell you that. I mean, just judging by the way the number of followers is decreasing for everybody who's on the conservative side.
I pretty much only use Facebook now for the marketplace feature. That's a great place to get deals.
Really?
Yeah, you can find all kinds. Like it's like Craigslist, what that used to be, but it's much more user friendly.
Yeah, as you know, Taylor, I don't really buy a lot of products other than used old 60-year-old mystery books.
You could find those on Facebook Marketplace.
I can, but I can also find them on Alibris, and I can't imagine they're all about the same price, $2.
Is it possible that Nancy Pelosi and all the other people that were against Trump's wall on the border might have a different viewpoint about it now for maybe the Capitol?
You know, the Capitol police chief says that the guy that it was forced to resign, he's blaming the Senate and the House now. He said he offered he asked McConnell's office and Pelosi's office if they wanted more security, and they both rebuffed him. And there's all kinds of finger pointing going on, but I don't think that they were too well prepared, especially in a community like the District of Columbia, which has so many different police forces and so many people with badges and weapons.
Lovey, if I were Mayor Ned Wheeler and the hoi polloi confronted me whilst dying at the Chanticleer, my scathing rebuttal would be, go back to the Olive Garden from which you came.
You know, the only reason he might not say the Olive Garden is I doubt John Kerry has even ever heard of the Olive Garden, because I think the Olive Garden came along after he tracked down his second billionaire heiress wife, Mama T.
Hey, Howie, who will come out to see his shadow first? Uncle Tony Phil or Hunter Biden?
How about Joe Biden, for that matter? You think Joe Biden will be out for Groundhog Day? He is going to be flying on basement 1 at the White House.
Nancy Pelosi updated her resume today. She's added judge, jury, and executioner.
That's right. She's she knows. Let's see. Let me see if we can find another one. Oh, here's another one. Now, think about this one. This talk about just making stuff up and throwing it up against the wall and seeing what sticks. Cut 24.
What if he pardons himself?
What if he pardons these people who are terrorists on the Capitol?
Or pardons
What if he
himself?
does that? He can only pardon himself from federal offenses. He cannot pardon himself from state offenses, and that's where he's being investigated in the state of New York.
Yeah, by Cyrus Vance, the guy who didn't want to prosecute Harvey Weinstein, even though the New York City police gave him a legal audio tape of him confessing to attacking sexually a young model. So does Nancy Pelosi think that Donald Trump is going to pardon the guy in the buffalo hat? Do you really think that, Nancy? Seriously? Imagine if a Republican had said something that stupid.
I hold in my hand the last envelope. Gibraltar, LeBron James, and the 2020 election. Name a rock, a jock, and a crock. Heyo!
Not bad. Not bad. 844-500-4242, 919 quotes the Babylon Bees list headline, Trump hides nuclear codes where Nancy Pelosi will never find them, in a Bible.
Bill Belichick may possibly win 2 awards over the span of the next 2 weeks. This week, he may win the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Next week, he may win the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
I wonder if I hope Bill Belichick goes down and picks it up, but I have a feeling that he's just going to say, I don't need this kind of headache. I've never felt the same about the UNC basketball team after Roy Williams wouldn't let him go to the White House in 2017 after they won the national championship. That was just so uncalled for to snub Trump.
So it's okay for Democrats to cheat during election time, but it's not okay for Republicans to talk about it.
It's a debunked conspiracy theory as opposed to the Russian collusion hoax. That they're still talking about that, by the way. Cut 21.
The president again has a 10-year blind spot and whatever obligation. I don't know what the Russians have on President Trump, whether it's personal, whether it's political, whether it's financial. I don't know what it is.
You think they have something on him.
But there's no other explaining why this president of the United States is such a handmaiden of Putin.
A handmaiden. I prefer puppet for the alliterate value. Puppet of Putin. But is that a debunked conspiracy theory? Would that have been a good follow-up question for Leslie Stahl? Is that a debunked conspiracy theory, Madam Speaker?
That was your last chump line message. Thank you for calling Howie Carr, you chump.
That's it for the Chump Line today. The Chump Line is the recorded voicemail message service of the Howie Carr Show. You can call and leave a message anytime between the hours of 1 and 4 Eastern every weekday. The number is 844-500-4242, 844-500-4242. Press 2 for the Chump Line. Leave your message. We may or may not play it at this time each weekday. The Chump Line, if you didn't hear your message on the Chump Line, you can maybe probably hear it on Chopped Chumps. Those are the Chump Line messages that didn't make the broadcast version. We post that as a podcast every night around 7 o'clock at wherever you get your Howie Carr Show podcast, Chop Chumps. The Chump Line is brought to you by Matthews Brothers, America's oldest manufacturer, and we're old enough to remember a time when social media accounts like Twitter and Facebook were available to all users and allowed open conversations. A time when you could also choose Parler or Gab as your platform. How quickly times have changed.
Secret Service log, January 22nd. The big guy is safely aboard basement 1. Repeat, big guy safely aboard basement 1.
I'm Howie Carr.
He didn't come here to be made sport of. Howie Carr.
Take advantage of HelloFresh's limited time New Year sale and hit refresh on your dinner routine in 2021. Get delicious recipes and fresh, pre-portioned ingredients sourced directly from growers and delivered to your door. With more than 23 weekly recipes, there's something for everyone to enjoy, including family-friendly, vegetarian, and low-calorie options. You can finally say goodbye to never-ending meal planning and prepping. HelloFresh recipe cards are easy to follow with simple steps and pictures to help you get meals on the table in as little as 20 minutes. Plus, by skipping the grocery store, you save up to 40% on groceries, cut food waste by 25%, and save time, so you can spend more time with your loved ones. See why HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit. For a limited time only, go to HelloFresh.com and use code Howie10 for 10 free meals, including free shipping during HelloFresh's New Year sale. This offer is available for a limited time only. That's code Howie10 for 10 free meals at HelloFresh.com.
Watch out, Joe Biden. You might have to share some of the spotlight because your running mate, Senator Kamala Harris, is certainly grabbing some attention for her own gaffes.
She was part of our culture. Yes, we wear those notorious B.I.G. t-shirts with a lot of pride.
Best rapper alive, Tupac.
He's not alive. You say he lives on.
Not alive. I know. I keep doing that.
A Harris administration together with Joe Biden as the president of the United States. The Biden-Harris administration. We have got to, in America, reimagine how we are accomplishing public safety. And let's be clear, there is no vaccine for racism.
Let's just say there's a vaccine that is approved and even distributed before the election. Would you get it?
Well, I think that's going to be an issue for all of us. I will say that I would not trust Donald Trump.
Here's how it works with my retirement accounts, and I'll bet yours too. If your 401k, your SEP, your IRA, whatever is going up, you probably don't think very much about it, right? But if it's going down, well, there's nothing much else you can think of. So for the last couple of years, none of us have been worrying much about those quarterly statements. But lately, it's gotten a little worrisome. It's not that bad, not yet anyway, but what goes up must come down. Now is the time to start thinking about adjusting your investments. Gold and silver have always been a hedge against stock market volatility. Uncertainty about the future has traditionally meant rising prices for precious metals. Orion Metal Exchange is the only precious metals company I trust. Give Orion a call to get a free, no-obligation investment guide about protecting your future with an enduring investment in gold and silver. You've got nothing to lose and everything to gain, including peace of mind, by calling Orion Metal Exchange now. Call them today at 800-912-2300. And with Orion, you'll get more metal for your money. Call 800-912-2300. That's 800-912-2300.
What does the mainstream media really think of you? Banjos, please.
Bigots and racists, credulous, rude, tin-toothed, working class, angry, white,
aging, angry, white guy.
Hey, Howie.
Yes.
I'm just warning you that Nate Nickerson, he's really, really broken up about what's happening to him. So, I mean, try to be as he's not going to be in a great mood. I'm just going to put it that way.
Okay, yeah, I heard he was on with Ed Lambert this morning.
Yeah, but from what he's telling Kathy, things have gotten even worse. I'll find out what that means.
Really?
But, yeah.
Okay.
You're back. I'm sorry.
Make 2021 your healthiest year yet with Super Beets Heart Chews. Get a free 30-day supply of Super Beets Heart Chews plus a free 30-day supply of their new delicious flavor, Super Grapes, with your first purchase at superbeetsradio.com/Howie. Look at them, and they're wrapped in tin foil just like a piece of candy, but they're good for you, unlike candy. But they taste good too. superbeetsradio.com/Howie. Check them out. Taylor, what's the poll question? What are the results thus far?
Who is Trump's biggest backstabber? Bill Barr, Chris Christie, Nikki Haley, Lisa Murkowski, Mike Pence, Mitt Romney, Tom Tillis, or Pat Toomey?
I'm still going to vote for Bill Barr.
Yeah, he's gotten even more of the vote now. 49% say Bill Barr, 15% for Chris Christie, 14% for Mike Pence, and 19% for Mitt Romney.
See, he may not be as duplicitous as Mitt Romney, but we were expecting nothing of Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney is a double-dealing, corkscrewing, backstabbing snake. We thought Barr was a decent guy. And so that's why. 844-500-4242. That is the toll-free number of the Howie Carr Show. Why don't we have a Marty Walsh cut just to break things up a little bit? This is Marty Walsh. This is, again, I guess, this is from Friday, right, Taylor?
Yes.
This is when Marty Walsh, the $6 million man, was announced as the next Secretary of Labor. Cut 13.
Mr. President-elect, Madam President, Vice President-elect, I want to thank you for the opportunity to serve the American people. The word labor means everything to me. As you mentioned earlier, Mr. President-elect.
As I said in my column yesterday at the Herald, which you can see at howiecarrshow.com, the dictionary tells you that labor and work are synonyms. In fact, they are not synonyms. It's more like an antonym. You should never confuse labor, especially organized labor, with work. And Marty knows that very well. 844-500-4242. We've got a lot to get to today. We're going to take a lot of calls in this next couple of segments. So get on board now at 844-500-4242, 844-500-4242. Methuen Police Chief Solomon, subject of scathing report over salaries and contracts, is stepping down. This is a great story. Local municipal hackorama going on, and we'll have a Methuen City Councilor on to talk about it in the next hour. But we're going to take your calls next when we come back at 844-500-4242. I'm Howie Carr.
So, Howie.
Yes.
I guess Nate Nickerson, his neighbor, said that they're horrified that they went to the Trump rally. She's got a house next to ours. She's now afraid to live next to us. He thinks he's going to have to sell everything and move away.
Can't be that. I don't know. I'll ask him about it.
I guess people are railing against his business on social media, too.
Oh, God.
Yeah. It's a good thing we walked back his comments on Friday. It could have been even worse than this.
Yeah, no, it could have been. I'm glad you caught that.
00. That's 800-989-9100. Kevin is a true fiduciary. That means by law, he's always working in your best interest. And be sure and catch Kevin on the Howie Carr radio program every Thursday afternoon for a market review and tips on creating the retirement of your dreams. Call Kevin Frisbee today. 800-989-9100. That's 800-989-9100.
Howie says it all the time. When it comes to bad politicians, Massachusetts takes the cake.
It is my honor to introduce to you your senator, my senator, Senator Elizabeth Warren.
I know who I am because of what my mother and my father told me.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Governor Deval Patrick.
And frankly, I got to tell you, with all the other things I'm worrying about, this is not one of them. We're going to be fine. I'm in charge.
Please join me in welcoming our own Senator Ed Markey.
The planet is running a fever. There are no emergency rooms for planets.
The very first African-American congresswoman to be elected from Massachusetts, Ayanna Pressley.
We don't need any more brown faces that don't want to be a brown voice. We don't need black faces that don't want to be a black voice. We don't need Muslims that don't want to be a Muslim voice. We don't need queers that don't want to be a queer voice.
Let's give him a great
Waterloo reception. John Kerry.
The Yankees posted the Boston Red Sox logo and they sang Sweet Adeline.
You've been hearing me talk about Super Beets for a while now, and I'm sure some of you are still thinking, why Super Beets? You could take it from me. The benefits of Super Beets are incredible. I take them twice a day, once in the morning when I get up, even before I have my first cup of coffee, and the other time in the afternoon, right before the show. It gives me a burst of energy. It's great for my blood pressure. It's good for circulation. It just makes you feel better. If that doesn't convince you, we can talk about the science behind Super Beets. Beets have nitrates. Nitrates support better blood flow, and better blood flow equals better energy and efficiency throughout the body, and even supports healthy blood pressure. But Super Beets does so much more than eating regular beets and is unparalleled compared to other beet powders. Just one scoop of Super Beets has the nitric oxide equivalent of 3 whole beets. Go to superbeetsradio.com/Howie and try out Super Beets yourself. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie.
President Trump is clearly ethically unfit and intellectually unprepared to be the president of the United States. And I support Chairwoman. In the coming weeks, the House will hold hearings of Congresswoman Harris, Congressman Senator Harris. He's our president, and I would rather he not be taking something that has not been approved, especially in his age group and in his, shall we say, weight group, what is morbidly obese, they say. So completely inappropriate in so many ways that it's almost a given. It's like a child who comes in with mud on their pants or something. That's the way it is. They're outside playing. That's what he comes in with doggy doo on his shoes, and everybody who works with him has that on their shoes too. But I only will do that if you tell me that this legislation is worthy of George Kirby's name. This moment of national anguish.
Joe Biden's plagiarizing prowess proves one thing: he's been stealing all his life.
Let us pledge that our generation of Americans will pay any price. We shall pay any price. Bear any burden. Bear any burden. Accept any challenge and meet any hardship. Meet any hardship. To secure the blessings of prosperity and the promise of opportunity for our children. To assure the survival and the success of liberty. But this standard is not a measure of how we can evaluate the condition of our society. Cannot measure the health of our children.
Yet the gross national product does not allow for the health of our children.
The quality of our education.
The quality of their education.
The joy of their play.
For the joy of their play.
Come on, man.
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
844-500-4242. We've been talking about Amazon and how they have put so many independents out of business. And just got an email from the owners of Booksmith Music Smith in Orleans, where I did many book signings over the years. And they're gone now. And Matt and Cherry said, well, we fought Amazon for 20 years. We lost. Glad we could survive to 2020 and support local and independent authors and musicians as long as we could, especially you, the Colonel David Hunt, and free speech. Just to be clear, we had plenty of lefty author signings too, including one who asked if he could sell his book without giving the store profit. How woke is it? Yes, I did draw the line at that point. Maybe things will change and we can have a business again where you will always be welcome. Thanks, Matt and Cherry. I had a good time I never asked you to sell the books and give all the money to me. I just asked for a little extra tartar sauce when the fried clams arrived from all those great places down on the Cape. 206 says, is it a prerequisite for any Biden appointee or Biden himself to stumble over Kamala's position as president-elect? It certainly seems that way. But again, he stumbles over what he's going to be doing at the inauguration himself. It's not just Marty Walsh or any of his other appointees. Cut 3. This is from the other day.
him leaving office. I was told that on the way up here, way over here, that he indicated he wasn't going to show up at the inauguration. One of the few things he and I have ever agreed on. It's a good thing I'm not showing up.
It's a good thing I'm not showing up. Okay. It would be a good thing. Although if it means swearing in Kamala, maybe it's not a good thing. 844-500-4242. Joanne, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Joanne.
Oh yeah, hi. I just have a few alternatives to Amazon because I have never liked Amazon and I rarely order. So you can go to barnesandnoble.com for your books and music, and you can go to AOL for email. I know it sounds kind of dorky, but I never went to Google because I have to do it at work, and I always felt they were taken over. And then you can go to the Gap and Macy's with the coupons, and it's even better than some of the stuff on the Amazon. So don't forget about those, and then don't forget
Joanne, I want to wean myself off of Amazon, but let me ask you, all those alternatives you listed, do they all offer free shipping? I mean, not that it's free shipping with Prime, but it seems like it's free shipping.
Well, Gap and Macy's have like a $50 limit, but I don't care. I'd rather pay for shipping than support this leftist stuff.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you? Really?
I never really hated Amazon that much until they, I guess, what do you call it? Deplatformed Parler. I mean, that's just so outrageous, especially when it's being done by a guy who owns a newspaper. I mean, the First Amendment was created in large measure to protect newspapers. It's just, I'm just amazed that they would go after Parler like that. And I don't, I'm on Parler, but I don't, honestly, until now, I haven't thought much about Parler, but I'm going to have to start thinking about it, obviously. I've dropped another 300 followers while I've been on the air this afternoon. So I think people, it's not, I trust it's not me. I think it's just people are leaving. People are just leaving the site because they understand what this is all about. I mean, this is about a cyber coup, as somebody said on Rush's show earlier today.
This is so strange, Howie, what the left started. This kind of started with like Chick-fil-A, all the donations that the CEO of Chick-fil-A was making, and people judged you for going to Chick-fil-A. I can't think of one company I judge somebody for because the CEO has left leanings. We all use them. When did this become the trend that we're all judged on where we shop and how we get our products?
Yeah. And is it really a good corporate policy? I don't care how many billions you have to potentially alienate or slap the faces of half the people in the country. How is that a good business? But how is it good business to basically endorse economic policies that are going to beggar the middle class? Which is what, higher taxes, a Green New Deal, onerous regulations, open borders. It's not going to be good for the United States. It wasn't good under Obama. There was a recovery for 4 years. Now they want to go back to the same policies that were resulting in economic malaise and societal turmoil, chaos. Lindsay, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Lindsay.
Hey, Howie, how are you? Nice to talk with you, first of all.
Thank you.
I want to talk about a couple of guys. First of all, we have a congressman up here in Springfield who's kind of a weird guy. He would vote for the devil as long as he was a Democrat.
Richie
I
Neal?
A couple of years ago. Yeah, Richie Neal. I remember 5 or 6 years ago when the Democrats lost the House, he said, we're going to be bipartisan and we're all going to shake hands and do this and do that. This guy had no intention whatsoever.
He's a hack.
Partisan. He is. And in fact, if you remember, a few months ago, he stood behind Nancy Pelosi and signed the articles of impeachment, and she gave him a pen. I'm just wondering what he did with that pen, but I have an idea where he could.
I get it, Lindsay. I get it. 844-500-4242. He's running against this guy, Alex Morse, the gay guy who is the mayor of Holyoke. And he kind of, well, somebody set up the mayor, and he was accused of trying to quote unquote date his students at this at UMass where he taught a course. Now he's not. Now Morse isn't even running for re-election. I don't care for Morse, but I might have voted for him just to get rid of Richie Neal. Richie Neal is an odious coat holder. He was one of these guys who's never had a real job, I don't think. Charlie, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Charlie.
Hey, how you doing, Howie?
Good.
Look, Trump. This is desperation time. He's got an ace up either sleeve.
I wish I believed that, Charlie, but come on. Don't believe everything you hear on the internet or read on the internet.
No, I'm not reading this. No, I'm talking about Hunter Biden's laptop and the Durham report. Both of those things. And he won't insist on getting into either one of those matters. And I'm wondering why.
I don't know. I asked Tom Fitton the other day when he was on the show from Judicial Watch. I said, why isn't he declassifying all this material? I think, wasn't it Giuliani over the weekend who said he should declassify everything? But, I guess they have all these protocols they go through. And, theoretically, the president could just override it and just open up everything and just say, put out everything unredacted. But for some reason, he doesn't want to do that. I tell you what, I would like to see the JFK assassination reports. I'd like to see the UFO reports. I'd like to see everything. And it's too bad that he's not going to put it out, but he isn't. Thanks for the call, Charlie. Steve, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Steve.
Hi, Howie. How you doing?
Good.
You know the thing that kills me. If you listen to Trump's speech, there is no inciting of violence, and we have encyclopedias of Antifa and Democrats inciting riots. It's massive, and the whole thing just disgusts me. We have all the lootings, the bombings, the burnings, and I went onto Antifa's website, and you know what it was? It was a link to donate to Joe Biden. Oh yeah, we're not connected with them.
I know, I understand that. You're right. Again, I repeat, and Rush is the one who came up with this today. I was listening to him before Grace's show went on. And he said, if they had incendiary rhetoric where he was actually telling his people to go to the Capitol and riot, they would be playing that around the clock. You would have heard it so many times, you would have memorized every syllable in the sound cut. But you never see that, do you? You never hear anything on the network news of him inciting an insurrection. Their favorite alliteration right now, inciting insurrection, because there is none of that videotape. There is no sound of inciting insurrection. He said you should go up there to the Capitol and demonstrate peacefully and patriotically. More alliteration. Peacefully, patriotically. Thanks for the call, Steve. Katie, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Katie.
Hi, Howie. I wanted to call in because I wanted to maybe take an idea that you had a little bit further. My thought was, with Amazon and all of these things that they're, coming against our freedoms, we know that everybody in D.C. is about the money, and that is how they are punishing the Republicans or the right side. And so I think it's time to return the favor to them and to start fighting on their terms. And so what I was thinking is, it's more than time to just start thinking about it a little bit. It is time for us to challenge investigative reporters to start, giving
Good
us
luck
the
with that.
information of exactly.
Good. There are not as many investigative reporters as there used to be. I think there's only half as many reporters as there were 10 or 12 years ago, and most of the ones that are left are leftists.
True, but all we need is one good one to start saying, this is how Nancy Pelosi is getting her money. This is who is contributing to these people, and then armed with
Katie,
that
all you got to do,
give them money anymore.
There are websites. The Federal Elections Commission website nationally In Massachusetts, the Office of Campaign and Political Finance. That's how I found out that the mayor had $6.2 million stashed before he got the job. I mean, a lot of this stuff it can be accessed by citizen journalists, people in their pajamas. You know, like the people who busted Dan Rather on his 60 Minutes fake news about President Bush way back when. I wouldn't put any confidence or faith in any journalist saving the day. And I say that as somebody who's been in that racket. And that's what it is, a racket for all these years. 844-500-4242. Thanks for the call, Katie. My friends at Eden Pure are extending their New Year's sale, but you need to act while you can. You can get the Thunderstorm air purifier at the lowest price offered to my listeners with code word Howie. The Thunderstorm is available for under $90 and shipping is free. Supplies are limited, so this sale won't last much longer. The Thunderstorm is a small device you can hold in your hand and plug into the wall to purify the air from any odor. This could be pet odor, kitchen smells, tobacco, or that damp smell in your basement. No filters are needed. You know, Dr. Matt, the house veterinarian of the Howie Carr Show, he heard about the Thunderstorm, and he bought one for his son, who he said had, it's his words, a very smelly cat. Now he says he can't smell his son's cat anymore because he gave his son the Thunderstorm. That's from Dr. Matt. What kind of that? You don't get a better endorsement
Matt knows
than
all
that.
about smelly animals.
He does. That's what I'm saying. The Thunderstorm doesn't take up floor space and is quiet, and it takes care of smelly animals, smelly anything. Take advantage of this extended sale and experience for yourself what all the listeners are raving about, including Dr. Matt. Go to EdenPure.com and put in code word Howie. That's EdenPure.com, code word Howie. Shipping is free. I'm Howie Carr.
The Howie Carr Show.
Joe Biden accuses Trump of being a racist, but if you listen to Biden's comments, you would agree that he doth protest too much.
If you take a test where you're taking cocaine or not, what do you think, huh? Are you?
Howie, you can take Tim next. He says he wants to respectfully disagree with you.
Okay.
Great and clean.
And Madam President, we have predators on our streets.
That kid wearing a hoodie may very well be the next poet laureate and not a gangbanger.
They are beyond the pale, many of those people.
God love you. You've been here all day. My Lord, you may feel like you're being incarcerated.
We have no choice but to take them out of society.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
I think the two-party system is good for the South and good for the Negro.
They're going to put you all back in chains. Unlike the African-American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community with incredibly different attitudes about different things. If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
Now's the perfect time to get a pair of premium wireless earbuds, and Raycon is the way to go. Raycon start at about half the price of other premium brands on the market, and they sound just as amazing. And Raycon's everyday E25 earbuds are their best model yet. You get 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, and a more compact design that gives you a comfortable, noise-isolating fit. Perfect for conference calls, video chats, or binging podcasts. Raycon was founded by Ray J, and celebrities like Cardi B and J.R. Smith have already given Raycons their seal of approval. I love my Raycons, and Grace loves hers, too.
Howie, I love my Raycons. Best birthday gift ever.
I listen to much better music than she does, though.
Hey, that's not true.
Now it's your turn to see what the hype is all about. Go to buyraycon.com/Howie. That's buyraycon.com/Howie. Buyraycon.com/Howie.
Joe Biden's plagiarizing prowess proves one thing: he's been stealing all his life.
Let us pledge that our generation of Americans will pay any price. We shall pay any price. Bear any burden. Bear any burden. Accept any challenge and meet any hardship. Meet any hardship. To secure the blessings of prosperity and the promise of opportunity for our children. To assure the survival and the success of liberty.
But this standard is not a measure of how we can evaluate the condition of our society.
cannot measure the health of our children.
Yet the gross national product does not allow for the health of our children,
The quality of our education,
the quality of their education,
the joy of their play,
for the joy of their play.
Come on, man.
Excitable? You bet I'm excitable. We're trying to put a guilty man in the chair where he belongs. Someone stops telling us fairy tales and we're listening.
Howie Carr is back.
603 says, I'm one of your followers who's gone, I mean Twitter. I refuse to support a platform that feels it's okay to ban the president for any reason. I don't blame you. I mean, I'm not PO'd at anybody. It's just odd to see the numbers go down like this. 603 here. Just check a product, Battery Daddy, on Amazon for $27.99 free shipping with Prime. Went to the manufacturer, $19.99 plus $7.99 shipping, 1 penny more. That's from the professor and Mary Sue. Yeah, I think, you know, if I start looking around for these products that I buy on Amazon, like I buy the highlighters. I'm holding up one right now. I just bought some highlighters. I'll bet I can get that at Staples for the same price, and I'll bet I can get free shipping. Tim, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Tim.
Hi, Howie.
Hi.
Listen, we're on political opposite sides, and I'm going to be respectful, but I think that you're maybe doing more damage than good because, you know, I mean, this thing is over, and I don't think armed protests and everything are any good. And I know there's going to be all 50 states, from what I hear, have armed protests at each state capital. And,
well,
you know,
wait a second. The FBI is saying this is going to happen. The FBI also said there was Russian collusion. Was that true?
I can't say that it's not. I don't know. I wasn't there, but
well, you know it's not true. Tim, you know it's not true. Why didn't the FBI do any investigation when they got a tip from the Parkland shooter's aunt that that kid was going to go crazy and shoot up the school? Do you trust
bomber.
Or the Unabomber?
Nashville bomber.
Oh, the Nashville bomber. Yeah, the Nashville bomber. They got word on him too. The FBI. Whether you're a leftist or not, you shouldn't believe anything the FBI says.
Well, I hear all kinds of news from all different sources, and
you hear it from CNN and MSNBC.
No, Fox News and whatever that.
Oh, well, same thing. Fox News is the same thing.
Yeah, now it is. But anyway, that other one, Megamax or whatever it's called, the new one.
Newsmax.
Newsmax, yeah, that. I listen to all of them, and I try to figure it out for myself. And, I just think that, we need peace in the country. And,
did you think we needed peace in the country when Trump was president, Tim? Did you say that we needed peace in the country, that everyone should accept Trump as the president when he was inaugurated? Or did you cheer on the women in the pink hats?
We got to give him a chance. Let him. If he wants to, he'll hang himself if I think it's as bad as it is. But I was very willing to give him a chance. I didn't vote for him. I didn't vote at all because I couldn't vote for Hillary either. But I was afraid from the day he won the election, and but I said he deserves a chance to prove himself or disprove himself, and I think, in my opinion, he disproved himself. I don't think he.
Has anyone oppressed you in the last? Tim, has anyone oppressed you in the last 4 years? Have you had any of your civil liberties violated?
No, I have not.
Have you done better financially or worse financially in the freedom of the last 4 years?
Financially.
What?
Better. But I am.
So wait a second. So what's your complaint then about Donald Trump? You've done better financially, and nobody has violated your civil liberties.
Correct, but I'm worried about black people who have their civil liberties being violated.
Wait a second. More black people voted for him than any president since Richard Nixon the first time around in 1960.
Well, it doesn't matter. Did you see the Capitol Police when Trump decided to take his little jaunt through his little?
Are we back to that again?
Bible? I mean,
come on. They Black Lives Matter. They and Antifa has been allowed to get away literally in some places with murder. over the course of this this last year. Thanks for the call, Tim. Gail, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Gail.
Hi, Howie. You asked why is it that big business and these multinationals, the multinational tech companies, the multinationally owned media companies, why are they working against their own customers and small business? It's because they want to put out their small business competition. That's why. They'll not be targeted as monopolies, and that's all they want. They'll have the greatest market share. They want open borders, cheap labor. They're going to definitely pay their puppets to promote the socialist line. And they buy their politicians, both parties.
Yep.
Both parties. And it's, you know what? Show me the money. That's what it is.
I agree. Like I said, whatever politician you're interested in, state or local, go to the website where you can see their campaign contributions, and it will tell you volumes about them. I'm Howie Carr.
Hey, Howie, I see you got a haircut again.
Yes, I did, Grace. It looks good, doesn't it?
It definitely looks better than that haircut you got a few years ago before you met the president. Remember that bad buzz cut, Howie?
Geez, you love bringing that up, don't you?
Well, I just think that your bad haircut was a true testament to the wonderful work of Dr. Highness at DiStefano Hair Restoration. Because even though you looked crazy at the time, your hair grew back. And now you look as dapper as ever.
That's true. Dr. Highness did such a wonderful job on my hair. I love waking up every day not worrying about bald spots or a dreaded comb over. I now have a thick head of hair. And the best part of it is, it's my hair. Getting a DiStefano hair restoration was the best decision I ever made.
Well, besides hiring me, right, Howie?
Like I said, Grace, it was the best decision I ever made.
You heard him, guys. Go to hairman.com to get the hair you've always wanted. Get hair like Howie's. Go to DiStefano Hair Restoration. They have 5 locations in New England, and they are open for business. That's hairman.com.
He is the youngest senator that is going to be running. In his video, he also mentioned he's the only senator that lives in the inner city, and he's an unmarried vegan. So a lot of very unique qualities Cory Booker brings to the table, Kate.
Now, I appreciate the comments of my colleagues. This is about the closest I'll probably ever have in my life to an I am Spartacus moment. I am Spartacus. I am Spartacus.
Joey, you like movies about gladiators?
Have you ever had an LGBTQ law clerk?
I've not been a judge, so I don't have any law clerks.
Someone working for you.
I'm to be honest, I don't know the sexual orientation of my staff.
When Dick Durbin called me, I had tears of rage when I heard about this experience in that meeting. And for you not to feel that hurt, tears of rage.
Would you just stop being so dramatic?
I'm a big believer that if this country hasn't broken your heart, then you don't love her enough.
What impact do you think Russian interference had in the election?
I think it was one of the major contributors to the outcome.
Years from the 2016 election, and Hillary Clinton still can't accept the results. Take a listen.
You know, you can run the best campaign. You can be the person who gets the nomination. You could lose. I believe he knows he's an illegitimate president. He knows.
The one thing that Trump is fearful of when it comes to his being president is that finally we will see how illegitimate his victory actually was.
This wasn't on the level. Flashing videos that appear and then disappear, and they're on the dark web and nobody can find them. It's like applying for a job and getting 66 million letters of recommendation and losing to a corrupt human tornado. So maybe there does need to be a rematch. I mean, obviously, I can beat him again. So, of course, he's obsessed with me.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
Hair loss is not one of life's more enjoyable experiences. If you're looking to fill in your hairline or reverse years of hair loss, DiStefano Hair Restoration will create a result that will be a transformative experience. The result of my IGT procedure was quite remarkable. I now have fuller, thicker hair, so I can even wear it a bit longer. There are a few major decisions I've made sooner. My hair restoration is number one. It was by far one of the best moves I've ever made. My hair looks awesome, and the confidence from having a full head of hair again has left me feeling great. I used to look in the mirror and dreaded seeing my ever-increasing bald spot. Now when I look in the mirror, I see the new me with a full head of thick hair. For information on how to make the same choice I did, go to hairman.com/Howie. What are you waiting for? More hair to fall out? Get the hair you've always wanted. Hairman.com/Howie. And now, another minute of Madam Speaker, Nancy Pelosi.
But again, don't. You have these wings, AOC and her group on one side.
That's like 5 people. They would say, play games, and then they'd say, open sesame. Except we don't say sesame, we say open Biden. But no, I because we are not. We have no, the number is growing. We have 91 women. There are 115 women in Congress, 116. 15 are Republican, 91 are Democrats. I happen to be a manifestation of the women power that is coming forth now, but only one manifestation. It was like getting kicked in the back by a mule constantly. It was physical. It was so unbelievable. The Times found Lincoln. Not to be presumptuous to put ourselves in those categories, but the Times have found us.
200 moms, dads, sons, daughters, grandparents who are no longer with us. I think it's up to 30,000 people have died. Over 600,000 dead, 600 plus thousand people.
60,000.
660. We're in the middle of a pandemic that had cost us more than 85,000 jobs, lives of millions of people. Now we have over 120 million dead from COVID. 200 million people have died. 205 million people, 1,000 people. 210,000 people have died. 4 million existing billion, 500,000. 50,000. A class of 25, you end up having 2 classes of 12, for example. But you know, in the 2020 census, which is now 2 censuses ago, the Oval back in May 9, 2019, a $15 million, or $15,000, $15 minimum wage. I got to the Senate 180 years ago.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
Normally, we give Fredo Cuomo a lot of attention, but lately it's Governor Andrew Cuomo who's been grabbing headlines. Let's take a listen to some of his best moments.
You're an essential worker, so go take a job as an essential worker.
But the people aren't hiring because of the
No, there are people hiring. You can get a job as an essential worker. So now you can go to work and you can be an essential worker and you're not going to kill anyone.
The number is down because we brought the number down. God did not do that. Fate did not do that. Destiny did not do that.
We're not going to make America great again. It was never that great.
Because I can all see you're in masterful shape, buff even.
It has a very nice floral bouquet. A little I detected lilac, hydrangea, tulips. What does it smell like to you? Tulips, yes. Floral bouquet.
Because if that's who they are, and if they are the extreme conservatives, they have no place in the state of New York.
Here's how it works with my retirement accounts, and I'll bet yours too. If your 401k, your SEP, your IRA, whatever is going up, you probably don't think very much about it, right? But if it's going down, well, there's nothing much else you can think of. So for the last couple of years, none of us have been worrying much about those quarterly statements. But lately, it's gotten a little worrisome. It's not that bad, not yet anyway, but what goes up must come down. Now is the time to start thinking about adjusting your investments. Gold and silver have always been a hedge against stock market volatility. Uncertainty about the future has traditionally meant rising prices for precious metals. Orion Metal Exchange is the only precious metals company I trust. Give Orion a call to get a free, no-obligation investment guide about protecting your future with an enduring investment in gold and silver. You've got nothing to lose and everything to gain, including peace of mind, by calling Orion Metal Exchange now. Call them today at 800-912-2300. And with Orion, you'll get more metal for your money. Call 800-912-2300. That's 800-912-2300.
Brace yourself, guys. Here's 1 minute of Nancy Pelosi.
I myself have always been for lowering the voting age to 16. I think it's really important to capture kids when they're in high school, which was a very amicable conversation. amiable, I guess you would say, not amicable, that they wanted their voices to be heard. I don't think our colleague is anti-Semitic. I think she has a different experience in the use of words. That's not the total package, but there are some of the major points of discussion, I would hope, from sea to shining sea, because they did.
Better strap yourself in. It's time for the Howie Carr Show.
Because I think we do have the reputation as being the conservative platform, although we are nonpartisan. That is what everybody sees us as. We do see this as being politically singled out.
But this is a historic moment where Twitter has stepped in and said, no, that world leader, the United States president, is too dangerous to use our platform.
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
We boarded up the country in case Trump won, not the reverse. So spare me the cries of whataboutism.
What about the COVID relief package that was held up for 8 months?
But that was their obstruction. I understand this.
Well, wait.
It was their obstruction.
Yours too.
Their obstruction.
No, yours too.
Oh, snap, snap, snap. Rump swabs, hacks, and moonbats beware. It's Howie Carr.
844-500-4242. 603 says, it's a good question. What happened to all of the hue and cry about net neutrality? Yeah, we'd all like a little net neutrality, wouldn't we, right about now?
Put the mic at your mouth.
844-500-4242. The sales of firearms and ammunition are through the roof right now, and we just wanted to check in and see what the situation was down with one of the big sponsors of the Howie Carr Show on the Cape, and they have a great gun range and a great shop, Cape Gun Works in Hyannis. And I specifically wanted to know about ammunition, because ammunition has been in short supply for quite some time now. But I think that the supply grows ever more stretched as time goes on. So we wanted to talk just about the whole situation with the gun industry with Toby from Cape Gun Works. Toby, what's going on? Is it how's business at Cape Gun Works in Hyannis?
Business has been brisk, Howie. Thanks for having me on. It's been very, very good, and I wish we could supply ammunition like we ought to be able to, like we always have been able to, but we're still having to limit the amount we can sell people, and also in some cases just save it for new firearms purchases, like with 9mm and 223 and stuff like that. But a birdie has told me that there is a drop about to land on us of ammunition. A Mercy shipment is coming in.
A Mercy shipment of ammo.
Yeah, it's a Mercy drop, of nothing like I used to get, but it's a trickle. It's a slow trickle these days. But when I get it, it goes quick. So even though we limit the amount of people can take, can purchase at one time, often it's 1 or 2 boxes of each caliber. And even though we do that, it still goes really fast. The last time we had 100,000 rounds, it lasted 4 days of 9mm. So
4 days.
Doesn't take long. Yeah, 4 days.
Wow. Can you save some for Taylor, by the way? Taylor's going to come in very shortly. If you can save something for him, he would appreciate it greatly.
Yeah, Taylor, we'll hook you up with the Howie Carr special. That's for sure.
Great. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Like I'm headed to the Cape.
So yeah, we got some coming in, which is great, because half my day lately has been just hammering the phones trying to get it from every person on earth I know that can possibly supply it.
Is it just is less ammo being made, or is it just the demand is outstripping the supply?
Well, the problem originally occurred when a lot of the factories were shut down due to COVID, and so the problem was demand went through the roof, and then the supply stopped, and then the supply chain was broken, And so now they're like about a year behind. So just from that short, I say short shutdown, a lot of Europe is still shut down or still working on limited capacity. And a lot of the primers and the powders and whatnot are made all over the world. And they're hard, it's hard to keep up. And now we have 9 million new gun owners in America that have to get ammo and practice and training and whatnot. So yeah, demand is through the roof. We had the perfect storm of an election year. We had, prisoners being let out of jail and, riots and burning and everything else. So people are realizing, hey, wait a minute, owning a gun isn't such a bad idea after all. So
what are the new gun owners, Toby, when the new gun owners come in to Cape Gun Works, what do they say to you? Why did they purchase a firearm? As if I didn't know.
Well, a lot of them were like, I never had any desire whatsoever to own a gun until I realized how fragile, things are. And not to fan the flames of panic, but we've always said, hey, when seconds matter, police are often minutes away, and our police do a phenomenal job. But frankly, no one's coming to save you. So it's incumbent upon ourselves to take responsibility for our own safety and, get the training necessary to be proficient with the gun if we're going to use that for self-defense. There's a lot of other things we can do, but at the end of the day, you got someone standing in your living room wanting to kill you. The gun is the most efficient method for people of all shapes and sizes. You know what I mean? So
are they buying different types of firearms than they used to? What would be are the top sellers today the same as they were, say, 4 or 5 years ago?
Yeah, I would say so. By far the most popular gun is a handgun, like a 9mm handgun, striker-fired handgun. And then a close second is shotguns right now. A lot of people buying shotguns, which I will say, shotgun purchases have probably tripled in the last year over year. A lot more people buying shotguns.
That's what Joe Biden suggests, Toby. You know that. Joe Biden suggests a shotgun.
Yep, the double-barrel shotgun.
Right, but that's only if you can't get an AR-14, as he likes to say, an AR-14, not a 15, an AR-14. It's a special Joe Biden model, apparently.
That's right, exactly. And those modern sporting rifles, like the Joe Biden AR-14s, are selling very well right now.
What happens when Biden over the weekend, Toby, said, "I'm going to defeat the NRA"? I mean, that's kind of a chilling statement. I mean, he's not going to try to defeat the Chamber of Commerce. I mean, the NRA is just another lobbying group, ultimately, isn't it?
Right. Yeah, they've been the line of defense for decades. As far as if it wasn't for them, I shudder to think what the Second Amendment would actually look like in our country. And there's a lot of other great groups that are doing similar work. And if it wasn't for these groups, we might be down to Australian style gun control or something like that. But I don't know. It's going to be an interesting 4 years or 2 years anyway, for sure, and we'll see how things play out. But I hope they get some other hobby horse to ride on besides firearms. But
you mean scapegoat, not hobby horse.
Right, yeah.
Oh, it's the same thing, I guess, when you get right down to it. So are you guys recommend? I mean, with ammo in such short supply, are you recommending that is it still a good idea to go out to the gun range? Just because I mean, it's fun to shoot a firearm. It's not just practicing. It's enjoyable, isn't it?
Yeah.
Are people doing less of it?
And I highly recommend you get enough ammo, even if you got to do it over multiple purchases, to go out and shoot your gun a few times, maybe more than ever now, take a private lesson so that those 50 or 100 rounds you're going to shoot end up, counting for something other than just putting holes in paper, and learn how to safely and efficiently fire your gun, whether or not that's in a private lesson or a group lesson, something like that. But make those rounds count now that you have such limited access to the amount of ammo that, at your disposal. And instead of just, ripping some rounds off downrange for the fun of it, although like you said, it's a lot of fun, but also time to make those rounds count and learn how to safely and efficiently use a gun. so that you can if you need to. You know what I mean? So.
I've heard from people, they say it's, with COVID-19 and all, the town halls are still semi-shut down, and it's harder to go to a police station. Is it getting more and more difficult to get an LTC license to carry in Massachusetts?
Yeah, it's definitely becoming more and more difficult as more towns require live fire. So it used to be you just took a 4-hour class. Now some towns are saying you got to take the 4-hour class and make sure that you have live fire, with that class, because we're not going to accept it if you didn't do actual shooting of a gun. So they're doing that to slow the tide down, because they're inundated with applications, and sometimes, they can't process them all. So they're saying, oh, give them one more hoop to jump through. And then other towns are just closing their doors altogether and not even accepting applications, which is, scary. But
yeah, which just forces people, people aren't going to stop getting guns. They're just going to have to go, like you say, through more hoops to get them.
Right. It's just taking longer and jumping through more hoops. Like Clarence Thomas said, it's the second class right of the Bill of Rights, guns. It's if you had to jump through all those hoops just to exercise First Amendment right, there would have been a revolution a long time ago. But that's, with guns, people think it's different. So there you have it.
All right. So if people want to find out more information about Cape Gun Works, where do they go, Toby?
So they can go to capegunworks.com. They can call us. They can follow our big tech social media pages, Facebook and Instagram and all the usual ones. Wow, we're still allowed to be on there. And they can tune into
Don't give them any ideas, Toby. Don't give them any ideas.
I know. We'll keep that between us. How's that? So, and then they can also join us every Saturday night from 7 to 8 on WXTK 95.1, one of your affiliate stations down here on the Cape, from 7 to 8 p.m. It's rapid fire. So we're doing I want to be like Howie when I grow up. So I figure I might as well do it now. And we got a radio talk show relating to guns and firearms and laws and everything else, Second Amendment and freedom, and that's every Saturday great. From 7 to 8.
And you can hear that. And you can hear that.
To have you on the show sometime too, Howard.
That's good. I'd be glad to be on the show, Toby. And incidentally, you don't have to be on the Cape to listen to the show. Just get the iHeart app, and you can listen to it on WXTK. And so Taylor will be coming down. When are you coming down, Taylor, to pick up your ammo?
Probably Saturday. Do you guys allow infants in the store?
Of course. Actually, it was really funny. Today we had a girl pushing a baby carriage, carrying like her rifle case in her other hand as she's pushing around her baby carriage. And she goes, do people often push baby carriages and carry guns in there? I go, all the time. She goes, okay, good. I don't feel so bad.
Well, Harrison will be introduced to that world, sure.
All right. Okay,
Great.
Toby.
That's exciting.
Okay, Toby, thanks for being with us, and keep that ammo coming in. Everybody, you can't go wrong selling ammo these days. Thanks for checking in with us. That's Toby from Cape Gun Works in Hyannis. It's a great place. I recently had a dental emergency last summer, and where did I go? Perfect Smiles. I've said this before, but was reminded of what a perfectionist Dr. Houghton is. He is a veneer engineer and a world-class dental artist. Being on TV, it's important that I look my best. Dr. Houghton did that for me, and he could do it for you too. We're in a climate right now where a lot of people don't want to go into the city anymore for any number of reasons. Perfect Smiles is conveniently located in Nashua, New Hampshire, right off the interstate highway. Parking is plentiful and free. I was impressed to see all the state-of-the-art safety protocols Dr. Houghton has taken since the virus. You'll feel safe and confident when you visit Perfect Smiles. And you won't believe it, but some of these protocols actually make going to the dentist and having your mouth worked on a more pleasant experience. I was amazed, but I was very happy to learn that. To see for yourself and get your perfect smile, call 1-844-A-PERFECT-SMILE or go to HowieCarrShow.com and click on the Perfect Smiles banner. You can also see my video at PerfectSmiles.com. Perfect Smiles. Change your smile, change your life. I'm Howie Carr.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
This is Charlie Baker.
Hey everybody, Charlie Baker here.
And these are his friends.
I got a text message the other day from a friend of mine who is no fan of most of what I've done over the course of the past 10 months.
In the world of Charlie Baker and his friends, the real world of panic porn, political leaders cannot survive without absolute power, and the public can't be expected to blindly follow orders without first hearing a made-up story.
And he was texting me from the hospital during a moment when he wasn't on a machine. And he got it at an event where no one wore masks. And he said, now that I have it, I get how brutal this can be.
It's a confusing, nonsensical, follow-the-science world, but it's the only world they know.
And honestly, I'm scared to death, not just for me, but for my family.
And they're the only friends Charlie Baker has.
You've been hearing me talk about Super Beets for a while now, and I'm sure some of you are still thinking, why Super Beets? You could take it from me. The benefits of Super Beets are incredible. I take them twice a day, once in the morning when I get up, even before I have my first cup of coffee, and the other time in the afternoon, right before the show. It gives me a burst of energy. It's great for my blood pressure. It's good for circulation. It just makes you feel better. If that doesn't convince you, we can talk about the science behind Super Beets. Beets have nitrates. Nitrates support better blood flow, and better blood flow equals better energy and efficiency throughout the body, and even supports healthy blood pressure. But Super Beets does so much more than eating regular beets and is unparalleled compared to other beet powders. Just one scoop of Super Beets has the nitric oxide equivalent of 3 whole beets. Go to superbeetsradio.com/Howie and try out Super Beets yourself. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie.
I tested positive. Let's use this example of me having it as proof that you can get it too. God forbid, the rest of us should be staying at home for our mothers and the people that we love. And to keep us farther apart will ultimately bring us closer together in this cause. We have to do everything we can to avoid being sick. No matter where the virus goes, the way to stop it will always be the same. Our collective conscientious actions. Staying home. Staying home saves lives. I don't want some jack loser, fat tire biker get in my face and in my space and talk to me. I don't want to hear it. All right, here is the official re-entry from the basement.
You're a phony. Hey, this guy's a great big phony.
Cleared by CDC. A little sweaty. Just worked out.
Oh, my.
Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
Howie Carr is back.
I've still never been able to figure out how the police chiefs in these towns can just get away with shutting down the permitting process. I know you have the right to appeal to the state police, but you know, who needs to have their Second Amendment rights violated, and you have to go to an appeal level to make up for the fact that your rights, your constitutional rights, have been sneered at by the local constabulary in your city or town. Mainly towns, but maybe cities too, I guess. Make 2021 your healthiest year yet with Super Beets Heart Chews. Get a free 30-day supply of Super Beets Heart Chews plus a free 30-day supply of their new delicious flavor, Super Grapes, with your first purchase. I'm holding up a couple of them right here. They're wrapped in foil, very convenient. Use 2 a day. It's great. With your first, get the free 30-day supply of their new delicious flavor and the Super Beets Heart Chews free 30-day supply with your first purchase. That's what you get at superbeetsradio.com/Howie, superbeetsradio.com/Howie. Taylor, what's the poll question? What are the results thus far?
Who is Trump's biggest backstabber? Bill Barr, Chris Christie, Nikki Haley, Lisa Murkowski, Mike Pence, Mitt Romney, Tom Tillis, or Pat Toomey?
I loved what Corey Lewandowski said about Nikki Haley on Friday. The night before, she'd been ripping into Trump and saying history would treat him harshly. And Corey said, she's a high maintenance person, Nikki Haley. We all understood exactly what he meant by that. I vote for Bill Barr.
He has a super majority in this poll, 50%.
Wow.
Mitt Romney at 18, Chris Christie at 15, and Mike Pence at 13.
All right. 844-500-4242. Dave, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Dave.
Hi, Howie. How you doing?
Good.
Hey, I just was thinking while I was listening. I've been listening to you since you started with Jerry Williams. When was that? But on the old WMEX. How long ago was that?
Well, it wasn't. I was on MEX, but a long time later. I wasn't with Jerry Williams when he was on MEX. I would have been. That's when I was in junior high school and high school. But I was back with Jerry Williams in the 1980s, the late 1980s.
So it's it'd be funny if you could do a review and get back to some of those old shows and see how they compare to what is going on today and what you and he were talking about back then.
I don't know if any of those shows are posted on YouTube, but I know some of his old shows on YouTube are on MEX are posted on YouTube. And you know what's really interesting, Dave, when you listen to those shows is they hear the newscasts. Because they're giving you they like go into this lengthy description of who played what happened in the Red Sox game the previous night. They're covering the Boston City Council. It's very, very. It seems old fashioned now when you listen to those MEX newscasts. But Jerry Williams was a great talent, and I recommend it if you want to check to see what radio was like back in the old days in Boston. WMEX Jerry Williams. It's and actually, I wonder if anybody's got any of those old RKO tapes with the governors. Me, the late Jerry Williams, and the late Barbara Anderson. I'm the sole surviving WRKO governor. Yikes! That's a sobering thought. 844-500-4242. Mara, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Mara.
Hi, Howie.
Hi.
Hi. Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you.
Thank you. Yes, I just wanted to let you know, not all towns have stopped doing permits. My husband is a lieutenant in Kingston, and he does permits, firearms for...
Oh, I know not everybody has, but, some of these, especially Kingston is not so politically correct as some of these other towns. But I mean, in some of the areas like are in the valley, some of these towns have entered into, and this has been going on for a while, they've entered into quote unquote a consortium of the local chiefs. None of them will agree to issue a permit. I mean, don't you think that's wrong, Mara?
I absolutely agree with you. Yes, definitely it is wrong.
Yeah. I just, I don't know. I mean, if you it's the old saying, if guns are outlawed, only outlaws will have guns. Wouldn't you want to keep an eye on the people who have guns if you're afraid of them having guns, rather than just say, no, I'm Howie Carr.
Several years ago, we here at Matthews Brothers launched a website called MatthewsBrothers.com. We did this for a couple of reasons. First, it's our name, and it seemed to make sense that we name it after ourselves. Secondly, we thought it would be a useful place to post interesting things about our wicked awesome windows and doors. Shortly after we launched it, this fella, who insists on calling himself the webmaster, told us that he could put anything we wanted to on our website. Since we were getting kind of tired of seeing his vacation photos there, we took him up on his offer. Today, there's so much fun stuff to do on our website. It's like going to a theme park, but without the lines or the mask. Do you want to know the closest dealer to you? Even if you're out in the middle of nowhere, or worse yet, New Jersey? We've got a dealer locator for that. Want a page through a colorful catalog?
You want a super beat?
We've got a flip book for that. Accidentally take the bottom
just a jumping point, but
Okay.
and you can say, neither one of us condoned what happened, and just drive that point home. That make that clear.
Right.
Funny, Boston.com had you as saying that, but Mass Live neglected to print that.
President has
That I
always
said
had
it?
erotic.
Yeah, Boston.com said you did not condone the violence, but Mass Live neglected to report that part.
Ice cream with anybody, anytime.
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
844-500-4242. Last Wednesday after the rally that the president spoke at, we had several guests on from Massachusetts who were at the actual event. And one of them was Nate Nickerson, who owns Arnold's, which is a great seafood restaurant and miniature golf course. It has all kinds of stuff, soft ice cream on in Eastham on Cape Cod. And Nate had been back from the Capitol, and he hadn't seen the phrase, the rioting, the breaches that took place, like the vast majority of people that were there, including someone that is here in the studio who was up there shooting it for a network. He had no idea what was going on, he said, even though he had a camera and he was connected to a news desk. So Nate came on and he said that that he had a decent experience there, and he hadn't seen the violence, and neither he nor I condoned the violence, what happened there. And however, since he returned to Cape Cod, a certain group of people have really criticized him severely. They're trying to cancel him, even though he did nothing wrong. He wasn't arrested. He didn't see it. He wasn't connected to a TV set or the internet where he could watch what was going on. And again, we just wanted to have him on the show today to explain that what happened. And it's really unfair that people like Nate Nickerson. He's not the only one, but I happen to know him, and many of you happen to know him, and you've enjoyed his restaurant and his hospitality. And we just wanted to give him a chance to explain his side of the story. He was on with Ed Lambert earlier today on WXTK, and we all support Nate. And he doesn't deserve this, honestly. Basically, this shouldn't be happening to a good guy. Nate, what do you want to say to everybody?
Well, first I want to say hi, Howie. I hope you're doing well. And second, I started this nightmare with you, and I just wanted to finish it with you. After this, I'm not talking to anybody because it doesn't do any good. You try to explain the situation, they take it apart. It's just unbelievable what the damage that has been done. What?
Yeah.
The hatred. I've been called a domestic terrorist, Hitler. I went there to start a civil war. I went there to change the vote of the electorate. And they have pictures of some guy with a shirt that says Civil War 2021, January 6th. And it's going around the internet. Hell, it's going around viral that it was me. I had on a black LL Bean shirt and coat and a Under Armour hat, and I didn't have any back. But that doesn't matter. It's all over. I just had, and this is what really killed me. This finished me. And yes, we're building a beautiful house.
Say that.
Huh? No. Well, and our neighbor is not happy with us. They're very, very unhappy. And I'm just going to leave it like that and let your guests figure out the rest of it, because it's just too bad to talk about. But I did, when I was on the show with you first, I was in a good mood. It was wonderful out there. People were happy. They had the dogs. They had their kids. the American flags were flying, like hundreds of them, and it was beautiful. It was a windy day, and I guess they got
at the
mixed
rally,
up
not
when
at
I
the Capitol,
said that.
right?
Yeah,
I
this
saw
was at the
some,
this was at the rally, Nate. This was at the rally, not inside the actual Capitol itself.
No one can go in the Capitol. You don't go in the Capitol. You go in the Capitol, you get shot. That's pretty clear. And those people that did that are responsible, and they should be punished to the fullest extent of the law. Every single one of them. They're evil, and I have no part of that. But that doesn't matter. I am evil, and I live in a small town, and I've been here for 70 years. I've got a pretty good reputation. I commit to this community. I donate. I do whatever I can because it's been a damn good town to me. And now it's ruined. I'm finished here. There's no way I'm going to be able to outlive this one because it's just overwhelming. I can't fight it. I'm just a little tiny guy. I can't fight these people. And my wife is having such a hard time, and my daughter, they can't take it anymore. It's not fair. I'm a good person. It's just not fair.
Nate,
I better go.
People. This is a tiny minority of people that are doing this to you. Most people understand. I talked to the guy down here in the studio. He told me the same thing you're saying. He said where he was far away from the Capitol, he said it was like a conservative Woodstock. None of this stuff was going on. This was a handful of people, and you didn't know what was going on. And this is not right the way they're treating you, Nate.
I know it's not right, but you can't change it. I've had a good reputation. Now it's just everything's destroyed. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to stay here anymore. I don't know. The future will let me know, but it's just it's not right. I mean, is this the way we want to raise our children, to hate like this? Is this one? Because this is what we're going to get. So you keep hating, and you can just take me right out. But just think of the children. Of course, think of the children because there's a million. I won't say it. But think of it. Think of your grandchildren. Is this the kind of world you want to live, where you have hatred and you can't sit down across the table from someone and agree to disagree and have an intelligent conversation and find some areas of mutual understanding and agreement? No, you can't do that because you went to a stupid rally and now you're the evil minister. You're I don't know. You're whatever you are. You're evil. I'm evil. I'm a bad person, and I don't deserve to be here. And it's just not right. What they're doing to people is not right, and there's nothing anyone can do about it. They hide behind the computers. They're cyber bullies, but it hurts. If I lived in Malden or Medford somewhere, and they know me, well, okay, it's too bad. But I live in a town where everybody knows me.
Right.
And it's not good.
You're from one of the oldest families on the Cape. You got ponds named after you.
My grandfather, I think, was the first fire chief. My great uncle was the first police chief. Are you kidding me? But I'm evil. I'm a horrible person. You want something? I'm there for you. But now it's all gone. It's all destroyed. They have destroyed everything. They've destroyed everything because I went to a friggin' rally.
Nate,
I'm sorry.
I understand. This is a terrible thing that's happened to you. And again, you didn't take part in any of this. There were probably close to 1 million, if not more than 1 million people there. If you're in a city with 1 million people, you're not responsible if a crime is committed somewhere else in that city, are you?
No, but they think I hit it. One guy said, you should have known.
How many people are calling in supporting him?
How am I supposed to know? A friend of mine asked me if I wanted to go to a rally. I didn't. He got the broom. I wasn't doing anything. Sounded like a good idea. I even stopped at the World War II Memorial and said a prayer for the 400,000 people who have lost their lives to give us the right to do what we're going to do without being castigated.
Yeah. Here's people want to know how can they support you,
Nate? How can they support you? Jesse from the Cape. I grew up with a bunch of Nickersons. I've been to Nate's place many times. You tell him right now not to give in. There are thousands on the Cape that support him and are on his side. We'll get thousands to support his business. Don't give up. We're being deluged with texts like that, Nate. I'm going to put some callers on here for you. Barbara, you're next with Howie Carr and Nate Nickerson from Arnold's in Eastham.
Howie, I am just so honored to be able to be here and to listen to Nate. And you know what? One of our most precious freedoms is the freedom to assemble and to speak our mind. Nate, you are a hero to me. I wasn't in Washington, but I was with all of you in spirit, and they are demonizing us because they are fearful of us. We cannot give up. We must stand up and preserve our freedoms, because if we don't, we will lose them. If we back down, we're going to lose them.
Yeah. But why do we have to do this in the first place? We're all here on this planet for such a very short time. And in the meantime, we're going to create all this hate and this trouble because you want to be, you want to pass your law or something. It's just crazy. People act like children. It's just, and they're not acting like Christians, I can tell you that. And I don't care if I get trouble for that, because I am a God-fearing Christian, and I hate anybody. I don't hate the people that doing this to me. I pray for them because I don't think they're in their right minds, and I think they need something. And I'm not smart enough, well enough to be able to fight all these people. I need people maybe to go on the internet or go on all those stupid social media programs. I had a girl work for me. She was my marketing agent. She quit because she didn't want to be affiliated with me. I mean, I understand it's a small town, and I understand. I need people to,
what could they do? Where could they go? Where can they go to support you, Nate?
Oh, you know where they go? Give me that women's thing. What's the name of that women's thing?
Women's of Change? Cape Cod Women of Change?
Cape Cod Women of Change. They've been particularly vicious. They can go to any Arnold's. If there's an Arnold's, what do you call it?
Page?
What do you call that? Yeah, Facebook page or anywhere. Write a letter to the Globe, write a letter to the Cape Cod Times. Get active and help, because, I go down, everyone's going to go down.
Yeah. Jim from Orlando says, tell Nate to keep the faith. I'll be in to see him when I'm in Massachusetts in June. All your listeners need to support him. Can they buy gift certificates? Would that help you out, or is it just you need an outpouring on social media right now?
Outpouring of social media. The money is secondary. I don't care. We don't
Take
have
James
to
if
do
you want.
a great summer. They want to go out there and picket. I guess they have the right. But the social media, we need to get out there and say, okay, this guy's not a dirtbag. He's never done anything to hurt anybody. Quite the opposite. My wife, I married 2 weeks ago, and she's upstairs bawling her eyes out. She can't take it anymore.
Marie from Dennis, we will still keep going to Arnold. Stay with us, Nate. James, you're next with Howie Carr and Nate Nickerson. Go ahead, James. Oh, we lost James.
Hi.
Oh, go ahead, James.
Yes, please. My suggestion is, and God, I feel for this guy, and I we all know what being bullied in the schoolyard is like, and so we have.
That's a good way to describe it, I think, James. Very good way to describe it.
But my suggestion for what small thing we can do is start writing our representatives, both senators and reps, regarding Section 230 about repealing it. And
this is the gives the social media giants the right to operate without fear of being treated as a publisher, i.e., being sued for
real quick.
defamation. Johnny, very quickly, Johnny, go ahead.
Okay, yeah, Nate, I'm with you, my friend. I served in Iraq and Afghanistan. No one loves this country more than me.
God bless you, and
One of
thank
my
you for your
uncles was a
service,
POW.
man.
No problem. My dad was a Korean War guy. My uncle was a POW World War II. Nobody loves this country more than me. The other day, I'm at work. My ex-wife calls me, and she starts yelling at me. Like, it was my fault. I didn't even know what was going on. I'm at work. I'm not watching TV. And she's telling me, complaining and giving me crap. I'm like, I just was like, thank God you're my ex-wife. But still, I mean, how is it my fault
Yeah. Well, you know exactly how I feel. Only multiplied by about, I don't know, 1 million people by now. It's just getting worse. It's growing leaps and bounds, and I don't know how to stop it.
Wrap it
And
up.
I'm so embarrassed, and I'm so worried about my child, my beautiful little daughter, and my beautiful bride. I mean, they don't need this.
Nate, we're gonna have to break, but
leave them out.
we'll keep in touch with you, and we'll see if you try to help Nate out. And if you could send us something, we'll tweet it out. I know with Twitter, but we'll tweet it out where people can go to support you. Okay, and we'll be in touch with you. We'll talk to you tomorrow if you want to talk again to see how it's going. We got to try to help you out.
Yeah.
Nate did not condone under any
Howie,
circumstances. Thank you, Nate. Thanks for being with us. He did not condone under any circumstances what went on that day, and neither did I. And the people that are doing this to him need to remember that and stop acting like schoolyard bullies, as Johnny said so well. Sticking to your New Year's resolution is a matter of making one right decision at a time. One of my New Year's resolutions is to eat healthier and to just do a better job of taking care of myself. And one of those ways to take care of myself is to enjoy more Super Beets Heart Chews. I just had one right now during the break. I needed a little boost of energy. I love Super Beets Heart Chews. They make me feel better. They just gave me a boost of energy. They're easy to deal with. You don't have to mix them up in anything. You just they're wrapped in foil like a piece of candy. You just stick them in your pocket and you can go about your day. You can use 2 a day, eat 2 a day. They're tasty and they make you feel better. Just 2 Super Beets Heart Chews per day give you the cardiovascular support and promote the heart-healthy energy you need to chase your goals. Super Beets Heart Chews combines non-GMO beets and clinically researched grapeseed extract shown to be twice as effective at supporting normal blood pressure than a healthy lifestyle alone. When it comes to implementing healthy habits this year, adding Super Beets Heart Chews to your daily routine is an easy decision to make. You're really going to enjoy these things. They taste good. They make you feel better. Good for your blood pressure, your circulation, and your heart health. And now you can get a free 30-day supply of Super Beets Heart Chews plus a free 30-day supply of their new delicious flavor, Super Grapes, with your first purchase by going to superbeetsradio.com/Howie. That's 2 free gifts valued at over $50, only available at superbeetsradio.com/Howie. That's superbeetsradio.com/Howie. I'm Howie Carr.
Howie will be right back after a...
Howie, we're only going to have maybe 2.5 minutes when we come back. You want to save this guy for tomorrow?
No, let's put him on. I may take him back tomorrow, but I just want to get this out there because this is a good story.
Sure.
Cambridge police acted stupidly, and there has never been any man or woman more qualified for this office than Hillary Clinton. There are neighborhoods around the country where it is easier for a 12 or 13-year-old to purchase a gun and cheaper than it is for them to get a book. I believe in the Second Amendment. It's there written on the paper. If we fall for, a bunch of okey doke. A few months ago, when you were asked what's the biggest geopolitical threat facing America, you said Russia, not Al Qaeda. You said Russia. In the 1980s are now calling to ask for their foreign policy back.
Hair loss is not one of life's more enjoyable experiences. If you're looking to fill in your hairline or reverse years of hair loss, DiStefano Hair Restoration will create a result that will be a transformative experience. The result of my IGT procedure was quite remarkable. I now have fuller, thicker hair so I can even wear it a bit longer. There are a few major decisions I've made in my life that I wish I did sooner. My hair restoration is number 1. It was by far one of the best moves I've ever made. My hair looks awesome, and the confidence from having a full head of hair again has left me feeling great. I used to look in the mirror and dreaded seeing my ever-increasing bald spot. Now when I look in the mirror, I see the new me with a full head of thick hair. For information on how to make the same choice I did, go to hairman.com/Howie. What are you waiting for? More hair to fall out? Get the hair you've always wanted. Hairman.com/Howie.
And now, 1 minute of Nancy Pelosi.
It is a bill that is much needed for our farmers and ranchers. I think there are only 47 votes against it in the House of Representatives. The American people should know the source of it. Again, we are engaged in the year-end continuing resolution, Homeland Security. I'm not sure. No, I haven't spoken to him since he called the other day, which was a very amicable conversation. Amiable, I guess you would say, not amicable. And I talked to Chuck last night to say, we haven't had an answer. There are other things that are going on that are newsworthy, and I think you'd have more viewers or readers if people address concerns that people have. The list goes on about the
You just shot an unarmed man. Well, he should have armed himself.
The Howie Carr Show.
We'll try to tweet or parlor out some more information about Nate Nickerson, where you can go to support him. And we're going to keep an eye on what's going on. There's another big story, local story today. Methuen Police Chief Joseph Solomon. He was the subject of a scathing Inspector General's report about salary and contracts. Today announced he's retiring, but he's going to get a huge pension apparently. We don't have much time, but I wanted to check in with City Councilor DJ Beauregard. DJ, thanks for being with us here on the Howie Carr Show. Are you happy that he's leaving, or are you worried about having to pay his pension?
Well, I guess as you would say, Howie, am I saddened or gladdened? In this case, it's a little bit of both. It's bittersweet because, it's nice to see that there's some light at the end of the tunnel, but at the same time, we got to figure out what the price tag on this is.
So he makes over $300,000 a year, right? Under a contract that was negotiated with some degree of, I don't know, not transparency, shall we say. So how much is he going to get, do you think, for a pension?
That's something we don't know. So the next steps are pretty unclear because we just really are trying to digest what's going on with this. But Howie, this goes back to what I like to call the pillaging of 2017 in Methuen. So his contract was first approved by the city council in Methuen back in February of 17. And then there were a series of months in between February of 17 and September 2017 when that city council just got all of these favors after voting for his contract, and in the lead up to passing the superior officer's contract that's currently in arbitration, we saw the city council chairman get a job in the police department as what they call a junior accountant. We saw another city councilor get a job in the police department.
A nationwide search, DJ. I think we'll have to have you back on tomorrow night to lay this all out for people who haven't been following it. But I'm Howie Carr. My friends at Eden Pure are extending their New Year's.
All right, Howie, give us a minute, then we can jump into the recordings.